Don't use drugs.
Hey.
Hey,
Going on? What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Paula, you got something dangling there? Oh, sorry.
Hey, Angela.
Hey, Angela.
You got a pair of balls. What's up? Tommy, Darius, thank you guys for joining me for this talk. We didn't watch the movie all the way through because we had watched the movie earlier separately. Sleepaway Camp. Oh yeah.
This is a movie you have to watch separately because the ending is so shocking. You don't want to be like, did you see that? Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. I watched it for the first time like 2 weeks ago when Slasher sent it to me. And I was like, what the hell did I just watch?
You watched it. You had the watch of shame going on.
All right, was it a watch of shame or a watch of shock?
Well, you know, some movies you watch it alone and you're like, yeah, I should not have watched this alone. But yeah, no, we did our run through tonight. We just sort of, like a montage. We jumped through all the major points, and it reframes a lot of scenes in that movie.
The highlights.
The highlight reel, yeah. And some stuff takes on a slightly different context after having seen it already. I tell you what, it was a shocker. There's I guess what I would call I don't know if it's a twist. Well, there is a twist.
It definitely is a twist.
Yeah, there's shout out to Captain Infinity. He's very critical of a movie like The Usual Suspects, where they sort of trick the audience, right? Some people consider that a brilliant twist, but he famously thinks that it's just trickery and it's bullshit. Whereas a mystery will have a reveal, like who done it. So this movie is a whodunit. So it's like a horror film. It's a slasher horror film and a whodunit. And so we get a reveal and a twist, which I did not see coming. So that reframes a lot of things in the movie. But
yeah, I mean, there have been a few of the other slasher type movies that actually did have reveals like that at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ones that first jumps into mind, because Halloween, you knew it was Michael Myers the whole time.
Right.
Nightmare on Elm Street, you knew it was Freddy the entire time.
Yeah.
What was the one movie that had a franchise that you weren't sure who the killer was?
Friday the 13th, the very first
Friday the 13th. Yes.
The very first.
Yeah.
You had no clue who the killer was initially in that movie. Like, you could piece it together about 3/4 of the way through the movie, but beyond that, you didn't know. Not really.
Yeah, she was a faceless killer the whole, for a lot of the movie, so.
Right. Yeah. So I actually thought this movie was pretty interesting and pretty clever. Like I said before the show, nobody really considers it genius filmmaking, but I do think it was clever in a number of ways.
All right, but also movies like Friday the 13th, movies like Nightmare on Elm Street, shit like that. Those were people of age who were playing children. They were playing teenagers. This movie had legit. What did you say? Angela was 13 years old.
Felicia Rose was 13. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure some of the other kids were just as young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's certain issues that arise when you use minors in film, especially
with a movie like this.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it's always been fascinating to me the how those rules adapt to the artifice of cinema, where you have an actor and the character. Can you show Shannon Elizabeth's titties in American Pie when her character is 17, but in reality she's 18, and well, if you're immersed in the film, totally, then those are 17-year-old titties, guys. All right. And this is a crime. So, yeah, for a movie like this, obviously, the kids are not really being murdered, but, like I also brought up McLovin from Superbad, where his character was losing his virginity. Now, in real life, he wasn't, but the character was, and that was enough that his parents had to sign off on it and be there. So, yeah, that was an interesting element of watching this movie. Just kind of a bonus level of questions that I had about, like, man,
and that is exactly why we didn't get a more intricate hair curler sequence.
Yeah, that we just got we got shadows.
Oh wait a minute, no, hair straightener, because the curler's got like the windy things on it.
Yeah, well, yeah, a curler is round, it's like a cylinder with a little clamp on it, and then you like wind the hair around it. A straightener's like kind of like a waffle iron, but without the grid pattern. It's just clamps down on it.
The bee's nest scene, we didn't get to see the bees attacking. We got to see the aftermath of the bees attacking.
Right,
I know.
right.
Sad.
But those are real bees. I mean, they look like real bees.
And that was another thing to touch on real quick before you break down the synopsis of this movie and what, do you go through? I don't know. You're going to go through scene by scene?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Well, I just want to say one thing about it, though, is the dummies that they used in this film. Even for this low of a B-rated movie, some of the dummies that they used in this were absolutely fantastic.
The water snake?
Yeah! Yeah, they used that in the commercial.
The kid with the water snake? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's water snakes out there. What's up, Nigel?
What's up, Nigel?
How you doing,
What up, Nigel?
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about let's start off on the beginning. The way that this movie started off, it starts off very unassuming with a little music playing in the background and some disembodied voices and sound effects as they're panning around the campground. And it's just such a strange beginning to a movie.
Yeah, a lot of horror movies start with some kind of tragedy, and so it's not weird that it opens with a tragic scene to set up the rest of the movie. But it's really vague. We don't really get any connection. We get a tiny connection to the rest of the film, but it's pretty open until the very end. We get the scene at camp many years ago where there's boats on the water.
Well, they weren't even all right. Where it starts is on the water, and Angela. Well, we don't get any names really. We got a father and his two kids,
Right.
and their gay lover his gay lover is on the shore.
I don't know how I missed that when I watched the movie. That went right over my head.
And he's saying to him too, he's like, the doc is gonna come meet us, which means the doctor, which means crazy mom.
Well,
Right,
actually, she's not the mom. She's the aunt.
Right.
Yeah. She's Ricky's mom. She's Ricky's mom.
Right. Ricky's mom. Now Ricky is not here, right? In the early scene.
Ricky's not in the scene though.
No,
Right.
because there was a small scene between Pete and Angela, who we find, you find out their names later. But there's a small scene where he said, "I wish Ricky could have been here."
Yeah.
Right.
Ricky, and he says that Ricky's with his dad, right?
Right. So the dad has a sister who is a doctor, and she has a son named Ricky, who we follow through much of the film.
The mother, that woman is batshit insane.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been going back and forth calling her the mother or the aunt. She's the mother of Ricky and the aunt
Ricky's
of
Ricky's
Angela.
mother, yes.
Yeah.
And
The way she acted, she could have been another personality for Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could have been a villain in the Batman '60s show.
Hey, this is so much better this way, don't you think, Angela?
Yeah.
She's going,
Right. And she was so over the top that I considered her campy. And there was, I thought there was like three different kinds of acting in the film, right? There was her. She was on like this campy level of just being way over the top, not realistic. And then you had some characters that played it totally straight, like who's the muscle man?
oh, I forgot what his name was.
Yeah.
He was one camp counselor who
Joe.
wasn't an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, and so there were totally straight performances, and then there were some that were kind of ambiguous. It was kind of like B movie acting, and now since they were young, it could just be bad acting, or it could have been.
This is 100% a B movie. There's no arguing that this is a B movie. It might be a C or D movie.
Yeah,
I would say at the very least, this is a B minus as far as budget goes.
Yeah, a lot of the characters, they say stuff that their character would say, but that no real person would actually say. And then you have like the muscle man who is like, he felt like a real guy. Like he's really just trying to do a good job and look out for the kids.
Yeah,
but
he makes a very bad mistake because he went straight to the pedo.
Yeah, he's a little naive. You think that he would know, but maybe he's just that focused on his job and on all the kids having a good time at camp.
Well, let's talk about that scene real quick, Slasher. Like right after we get the little boating scene accident, we get that scene with Art and the guys as they're watching the kids run into camp.
Chicken?
Oh yeah, well, that's
back in my day we used to call them baldies.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on one second.
Look at all that young, fresh chicken.
Yeah, dude. And now I was watching this alone, and I'm like, wait, did he just say what I think he just said?
Did he say this? Did he also say this?
Where I come from, we call them baldies.
I was like, no way. And there's other people standing next to him, the entire kitchen staff. I'm like, did he just...
James Earl Jones's father. Yes, the old man is James Earl Jones's father. That guy is fucking laughing like, ho, 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 you pedo.
Right, he knows. And he's like, that Artie is crazy.
That's just him, did them kids, that's all.
You know what? For all the LGBTQXYZ double entendre type people that really are saying that this film is transphobic, they should love the fact that they've got pedos right there in the beginning of it. Didn't they want to add them to the Rainbow Coalition? Like, I don't know why some of those people get mad about this film, or is it because one of the room gets it?
Well, I think if people do read the film that way, that they are not really watching the film, and because the film, in my opinion, it's not anti-trans at all. And in fact,
wait! You don't gotta go. No. That's gonna be a bit of a spoiler if you get it.
Okay. All right. Now, I wasn't gonna go into detail, but because I don't want to spoil the twist.
You don't want to spoil this movie from 1983.
No, I just wanted to lay down that bedrock that you could look at it totally the opposite way.
You just want to lay down that pipe.
Yeah, when I laid down that pipe, where it could flow the opposite direction. You could see it, as a very pro message. Anyway.
Well, it's anti-pedo.
It is. It very much is anti-pedo.
Does this movie make you want to push a pedo into an oil drum full of boiling water?
You mean more than I already did?
It boils my blood. What's up, Lasso?
Hey, what's
up, Lasso? I wonder when she would show up.
Thank you.
Hey, she came through. She said that she would.
Thank you for coming.
Can always count on her. What's up? Yeah, man. We did kind of skip over the one scene in between the boat accident, which was an accident, where the guy's like driving the boat. The guy working there and his dumb girlfriend's like, "Let me drive the boat," and he's like, "Oh no."
Yeah, they got the water skier who has the best acting of the movie, by the way. After they hit father and the kid, help! She's like fucking freaking out.
Oh, the humanity!
Somebody help the kids!
Yeah. Basically, the guy who should have known better, he lets the girl drive the boat. Tragedy ensues. She hits the the father of the two children in the water after they flipped the boat on him. Those crazy kids.
Well, you know what? I want to intercede here just for a moment, Darius. I don't think that we could blame that student lifeguard kid at all. I mean, yeah, obviously he was older than the girl that was in the boat that he gave the wheel to, but it's not his fault. This is all Mel's fault. Mel was his role model.
Okay. Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Remember how upset he got? I might lose my job over this. Hey, you gonna find me another job? I get to work for Mel.
Yeah.
Well, also that was 8 years before, so we're not exactly sure if Mel had the rights to Camp Arawak.
I think he did, and he definitely would have covered that up.
Although, Tommy, did you also notice in the opening scene that the Camp Arawak sign says closed and for sale? Did you notice that? So that opening scene was supposed to be, I guess, the ghosts of that summer lurking over the fucking camp.
Mm-hmm.
Spooky.
Or they broke in. Yeah, no, that is weird. Yeah, so the father, we don't see his death, but he's tragically run over by a rogue boat.
We do kind of see it. We see it for a second. We see his head. Yeah, we see his head, and then we see the fucking the boat skid over. Like, you don't really see. It's not like he gets decapitated.
No, we see his body floating face down in the water afterwards.
Yes, and then we see one life preserver left.
Right, so and he had one son and one daughter, and I guess it's implied that one of them was also killed in the tragic boat accident. Presumably, the son.
Well, you also see one of the kids floating in the water still.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we presume that yes, the son also died, leaving only Angela.
And then it says 8 years later.
8. Yep. Flash forward to the crazy aunt / mother of Ricky.
And then it's time for.
Oh no, that simply wouldn't do. No, that wouldn't do at all.
I packed your lunch.
My God, what was up with the painters' outfits? They even had him in a little painter's hat and everything.
Oh yeah, she was a nut. She's a fruitcake.
God, she could have been the mother in Beetlejuice as well. I mean, just the way she acted.
Yeah, I actually think she could have been the Joker's mother.
Yeah,
it would have been very fucking fitting. But I mean the Joker as he is, as the Joker, not like.
I would like to completely protest that. There's no way that crazy bitch could ever play my mother. I don't know what you're talking about, Slasher. Have a little respect for the Joker pig.
Yeah, she's very controlling, very domineering. You know,
she's a doctor. She's also a doctor.
Yep, she given their physicals, which I don't know if she actually did the physical herself because she is a doctor.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone where you got them from. She tells them, don't tell anyone where you got them from.
Yeah. She's the kind of person that plans everything out for the whole year. You know, everything has to be exactly the way it was planned, like clockwork, or she'll get very upset. She likes things to go her way. And she wants them to have a good time at camp. So, Ricky,
all right,
take care of your cousin.
Yeah, and Angela isn't saying a word. Angela's just staring at the floor.
Mm-hmm. Presumably, she's still,
traumatized.
Pretty traumatized by the death of her father.
And brother.
Ricky's always like defending her when they're at camp. Ricky's like, oh, she doesn't say much. Just leave her alone.
Yeah, Ricky's a good kid. You don't take no shit.
Ricky's the man. I like Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky also curses his head off. Ricky's like, you motherfucker.
A couple times, Ricky's doing his best impersonation of Chuck Norris with the freaking little hat and everything. Like, I'm busting in this saloon and I'm going to clean this place up.
You know what, though? I actually, when we were watching the clips here, the hat was only worn for one reason. It was to get slapped off his head.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and he promises his mother he will look out for Angela and take care of her. In fact, I think the aunt even refers to her as her little girl.
My little angel.
Yeah, take care of. Yeah, and that confused me a little bit at first because she's like, take care of my little girl. That's right. She doesn't say take care of your cousin. She says take care of my little girl. So she's definitely embraced her mother role to Angela, having raised her since the death of Dad. So then we cut right to camp, like Slasher said, Camp Arawak. The kids are all rolling in, and Judy is there, who Ricky had a fling with last summer, but she wants nothing to do with him now because she's, I guess,
She's a bitch.
well, yeah, she probably got hot, over the winter, which
So she
happens.
says to Ricky, "Girls, but don't you know girls mature faster than boys?" Judy's a bitch. Judy's number one bitch that we meet in the movie. We meet more bitches in the movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so I think the implication from Judy is that she basically just spreads her legs now all the time,
No, you know what? Meg, she is the supreme twat on the show.
Yeah.
She spreads a lot more than Judy.
You think so?
For much older guys too, bro.
Yeah, she was meeting up with Mel.
70-year-old motherfucker.
Yeah, spoiler, but yeah, I only remember Mel. Like, it seemed like she was just being a bitch all the time. But even though like she was one of the hottest girls at camp, she only was interested in the old man, which I thought was odd. But I don't remember her hooking up with any other guys. She pretty much sticks to Judy. Like I almost thought she was just, scissoring Judy.
Well, wait a minute. As we're coming up to that scene, wasn't she the one in the boat? Wasn't that Meg?
No, that wasn't Megan. You mean the water snake part, right?
Yeah.
Water snakes? No, that's not Judy in the book.
Oh,
Judy wouldn't have. No, I
thought
don't
it
think
was
Judy would
Meg.
have went out.
No, I thought it was Meg.
Meg. Yeah, not Meg.
Yeah.
It wasn't Meg because Meg wouldn't have hung out with that dickhead. That dickhead just lost a baseball game to a bunch of 13-year-olds.
Yeah. What a loser. I just don't remember Meg flirting with any other guys. Now Judy does. Judy flirts with other guys, but she's weird about it because she could probably have any guy at camp, but she doesn't seem to want the guys that want her.
Judy's a hoover.
Yeah, well, yeah, like she's like, oh, Ricky, been there, done that, and she just blows him off. But she's so jealous, and she gets obsessed. Where if a girl is interested in Ricky, then she'll care, right?
Well, yeah. That's her whole thing. She's obsessed about having all the attention on her, and you see that throughout the film with Paul as well. That's why she gets so mad and vindictive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Poor
She
Paul.
just, poor Paul. We'll get to him, but yeah, no, Judy.
He got a little bit more than he expected.
He got a lot more than he expected, and more than he probably deserved. But Judy could have just had, if she was a normal teenage girl, which there's no such thing, but she could have just had a nice time at camp, and had a couple, gone on a few dates. But no, Judy's
She's a
she's
twat.
cute, but she's a little, she's a twat, but she's a little fucked up too. Where she, like Tommy said, she likes attention more than anything else.
All right. So also, all right. There's the muscle guys as the counselors. So Meg is a counselor. So Meg should be what, in her 20s or 18 at least, maybe.
Maybe.
For Mel's,
I think it's implied that
Mel's
she's
sake.
like 17.
Yeah, I think so.
Mel is like 70, dude.
Yeah, he's such a piece of shit.
That's rough. And
Yeah.
she's looking at him all starry-eyed too. She's like,
Yeah,
hey.
Now I missed some of that watching it through the first time. The way that she looks at him and the way that Mel sort of looks at her and lingers around. I thought he was just being kind of, creepy and old man, but I didn't realize until later that he was like slipping it to her on the DL, giving her his.
When they're at the rec center, fucking Mel walks in, and Meg is at the fucking the bar area with with half shirt guy from the baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
But when Mel walks over, she's like all about Mel. She's
Oh,
looking
it's
right
so
at
weird.
him. Oh, Mel, I love you.
Something must have happened to her. Like,
Your balls as droopy as your face. Mel had
oh,
a droopy ass fucking wet bag face.
oh, she's like, I like to juggle. Oh man. So yeah, after we got that the introduction to Artie, chicken man. Artie is ogling his
Baldy
baldies.
lover.
But Artie, yeah, and James Earl Jones' father says, Artie, they're too young to even know what you're talking about.
And then he just walks away from him laughing.
But he says, ain't no such thing as too young.
You're just too old.
You're just too old. Picking his teeth with the toothpick. And they
I
just
don't
laugh.
even think he was picking his teeth. It looked like he had like a rope that he was sliding between his teeth.
Yeah. And yeah,
The one guy we don't get to see dead. The one guy who really deserved it. We don't get to see him die.
yeah, unconfirmed. Yep. Yeah, because I think that scene at the rec center the time he's talking about it comes up right after all the kids arrive, and then we see Artie and everyone.
I gotta ask you guys something. Have you ever been to a summer camp? Either of you?
Once in 5th grade.
Tommy, have you ever been to a summer camp in your life?
One single time, and believe it or not, it was through a church. And let me tell you, the dick bags that they have going to those religious campground things. Oh, they're a bunch of jerk offs.
Yeah, and sometimes they're pretty fucked up.
I'm just wondering because I've never been to summer camp before. I know people who have, but I never asked them. When you're running into summer camp, do you have the fucking counselor standing there barking at you like you're a drill sergeant, the way Mel was doing that?
Depending on the camp, because technically I did go to a second one years later, because when my daughter was born, there was a campground that my wife's mother, my daughter's grandmother, and my wife used to go to and work as kind of as counselors. So I went that year with them to take care of Zoe, since they wanted to bring Zoe along, even though she was way too young to do anything. But they needed somebody to watch after the kid, basically, is why I went. And yeah, the counselors, yeah, they were all over the top of the kids. And now I want you to remember that this campground was for special students.
Okay.
And they were still like, oh, let's
Holy
go,
shit.
rah, rah, rah,
Was this run by Imus? Holy shit.
Nappy-headed hose. That's Don Imus, right? Nappy-headed hose.
Yeah, that is Imus.
That's all I know from Don Imus.
Yeah, well, Imus would put cancer kids to work on his ranch.
Jeez.
I'm building character.
Some of the counselors at Arawak were cool. You had that the chick with the curly blonde hair. She was nice. She was looking out for Angela. And then you had Muscle
Oh,
Dude.
yeah, you know what? She was like that one teacher who was nice to Carrie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. She's like, yeah, just leave Angela alone. She's just talking to a boy.
what's funny about this movie as you get through it, you see that it's not just the normal kids that are. It's even the younger ones are little D-bags in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's part of the movie as we get down the road, but I just wanted to bring that up. It just seemed like 90% of the people that were at this campground were dickbags.
Yeah.
That's one of the most realistic parts of the movie is that the kids are
It was a
shitty.
camp. It was a camp for assholes, basically.
But that's how kids are. Most kids in movies and on TV, I find unbelievable. And even as a kid, I found them even more unbelievable. Like, nah, that's not how real kids are. Real kids ain't like that. But the kids in this movie are pretty believable.
Dude, if there was a kid in my neighborhood that tried to be real life Zach Morris, this kid's house would have gotten robbed at gunpoint.
Yeah, dude,
I know. Yes. I know the way they overdid the way kids were.
Yeah, I don't know.
That one, the church one that I went with, that my parents sent me to. There's some bitches, but I seen there was a couple kids that were genuinely like nice kids and everything like that, like kind of like you would see in like the picturesque campground type thing. And you know what happened to those really nice kids? The other supposedly religious kids, they took those ones and they took them into the bathroom and they got swirlies.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, because like
I thought you were gonna say worse than that.
oh, dude, yeah, kids at church camp are no better than anywhere else. Some of those kids are just super repressed from their parents, and so they act out. And then, of course, you have preacher's kids. We all know the phenomenon of the preacher's kid.
They can do no wrong.
Yeah, they're demons. So, yeah, no. I mean, for a lot of kids, church camp, even though they're very religious, that's a place where they, they kind of really cut loose all the urges and impulses that they've been suppressing the rest of the time.
Like Rumspringer?
Yeah, kind of, I guess. Except that they're allowed to do that.
Like, the Catholic version of Rumspringer.
Yeah, it's more like at church camp, it's like they don't have their parents there watching them and telling them what to do all the time. So there's a good song about a preacher's son. Oh yeah, the son of a preacher man. No, that's a nice song about a preacher's son. But yeah, let's see. So after we met all the kids, so we do get a pretty good introduction to a lot of the major players, like Judy. Hey, Judy. And Ricky's nice to her, too. He's like, hey, Judy, what's up? You want to hook up again? And she's like, as if, Like,
Judy's also surrounded by a bunch of the 18-year-olds that are at this camp for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Right.
She's just like blowing them off.
That's because Judy was like, no, Ricky, I ain't got no time. I got blown out over the winter.
Yeah, well, yeah. Fucking Paul says to Ricky, he's like, have you seen Judy lately? Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's something that everyone remembers, especially the girls.
Judy's not even that hot. If I was Judy's age at that time, I'd be like, I don't think you're hot, Judy.
Right, but I mean, they're at that age where, like if you don't see someone for, over the winter, sometimes, a girl will just sort of suddenly get hot and you're like, whoa, what happened to Judy? Oh, man, Judy's looking good. And Judy knows it, right? And
Judy got a bitchy face. Judy just looks like a natural bitch. Like her face. Like,
yeah.
She looks like she's always going to be like,
right. Well, all of her new powers have gone to her head, and she's flexing. Really, she's just out there flexing.
Her new power.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The power of hotness. Like it's it's sort of. It's like in Harry Potter or something, where suddenly you turn 13 and suddenly you get magical powers, and or the X-Men, right? When they hit puberty, they get their mutant powers activate.
All right, so Judy and Angela look like they could be related. I think they almost look like they may be cousins.
Maybe. I don't know. I just thought of them as like East Coast kids.
Well, there was I'm pretty damn sure this was set in the East Coast because you got the kid going.
The accents.
I did not.
Yeah. Yeah, they have all real accents in this movie. They don't fake it. They don't sound like Nebraska or California. Like these kids, they're from the East Coast all the way. And I think Judy is like, she's out there flexing on Ricky. Like, oh, I could do better than you. She's out there, just talking to guys. Like, she didn't even go out with most of these guys. She just likes the attention, like Tommy said. So she's really just out there flexing, and that's why Angela bothers her so much, right? Because Angela's not intimidated by her. Angela's not. Also, Angela doesn't follow her around like the flock. The other girls, they want to attach to the prettiest girl, right, and be part of the crew. Angela doesn't want to do that. Like Meg is cute, but Meg is like the lieutenant for Judy.
But Judy also does not like Angela right away because as soon as they're in the cabin together, Judy's taking out all her beauty equipment, and Angela's sitting on her bed just dead staring at Judy. And Judy keeps looking up at her and be like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And Judy keeps bitching at her about that. And Angela's doing the trance thing. All right, the girl, Felisa Rose. Yes, that girl, she mastered not blinking. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, the dead eyes. Holy fucking shit.
See, I thought her acting was really good. You know, people criticize Keanu Reeves sometimes for being like too flat or too, underacting, being too minimalist. But I think that it works for a lot of his major roles, like Neo or even Point Break maybe. But I think it's appropriate. And I thought that her acting was spot on for Angela. Because she doesn't talk much.
Can't find no fault with it.
Right. It might seem like an easy role or a simple role, but it's not because you have to do it visually. You got to do it without the dialogue, and so.
Think about the few times that she had to use dialogue. It's still, it comes as a bit of a shock for the viewers at first because they're used to her not saying anything. But when she starts talking, it's like, okay, it seems natural that she's like coming out of her shell and speaking. Right.
Because at first she's only talking when she's happy, right? Like if someone's nice to her and she's like, okay. And because it takes a while before she utters her first line, and so you're like, whoa, oh, she said okay. And
I wanted to hit on something real quick. So Lasso said she thought it was filmed in New York. I do have the information on that. So the filming of Sleepaway Camp did take place in Argyle, New York.
Island?
Argyle, New York, near
Argyle.
Summit Lake, at a camp formerly known as Camp Algonquin.
Okay.
In the interviews, the screenwriter and director Robert Hitzik, he said he attended that camp as a child. So,
oh wow, so this is personal for him. Okay,
I wonder if he has his own little Angela.
Oh man.
Well, at least we know he wasn't Paul.
No. Oh, poor Paul.
Paul got hid.
I didn't even notice what Slasher said, that it's early on in the film that Paul says, "Whoa, have you seen Judy?" And I didn't even remember that, but I should have known he was marked. Oh man, but So in the bunk, Angela just stares at Judy, and she's motionless, unblinking. And that freaks Judy out. Judy doesn't like anything she can't control or anyone she can't control. And, you mentioned all the beauty products. That's her flexing. She's flexing her beauty because she knows that's her best asset.
Also, at that point, that's when Meg first comes over and starts talking shit about Angela. That's the first time Meg that actually starts trying to flex her fucking counselor muscle, whatever the fuck. Fucking asshole bitch could throw people in the water.
No, she's flexing her counselor Arby's, or as some of us like to refer to as the roast beef.
Yeah,
and she's like, I'm fucking a senior citizen. What are you gonna do about it?
Sorry, you had to hear that last. But Meg is like Judy's strap-on in a sense, right? So that Judy just wants to fuck everyone, and Meg is like the tool she uses to do it. She does whatever Judy wants, and I think it's just Judy not liking Angela that calls Meg over to start shitting on Angela.
I think Meg is just a natural fucking bully. That's what I think.
Yeah, she is. You can hear it a little bit every time she calls Meg over. Just in the distance, in the background, you hear. I wonder if Meg is ashamed about her relationship with Mel, because she does hide it. She hides details, but she doesn't seem to actually feel guilty about it or think it's weird.
She likes that old cack.
Right. But and that's weird. I mean, not to kink shame anybody, but I think that's pretty weird, especially for like a teenage girl to only want the old wrinkled sausage And like she could take her pick of
especially when she's got those guys in Daisy Dukes and half shirts running around camp. Right?
Exactly.
She's got
Right.
those guys at her disposal.
Right. She's at
I
summer
don't know.
camp.
Maybe she looked at them dressed like that and she was like, "Okay, fuck these guys. They're dressed like in skimpier clothes than I am."
Yeah, she's just not into it. And so for like half the movie, I thought
She
maybe
wants
Meg.
old balls. She wants.
Well, she
old,
knows
gray,
those
creepy
tight.
balls.
She knows those tight shorty shorts are cutting off circulation.
Yeah, and Mel is the only one wearing like dress. He's like, he's got like old man shirts, but he's like wearing dress pants the whole time, right?
Yeah, she likes there to be hair on the chest,
Yeah.
like that bush, that big gray bush on the chest.
Mel is a man's man.
Yeah, she likes those big pendulous dangling balls.
Mel's so alpha male, he'll fucking Donkey Kong blasts up a 15-year-old kid if he suspects him of murder.
As I said, Meg wants the donkey punch. That's what she wants from Mel. But yeah, like she could take her pick of. Well, honestly, we all know she would take her pick of whatever guy Judy didn't want, right? Meg is number 2, so Judy could pick whatever guy she wanted, and then Meg would get whoever's left over. And but she doesn't. She doesn't. I mean, that's girls are like that sometimes. But she doesn't do that. And I just thought that was weird. Maybe she wanted to scissor Judy.
Give Judy a few years, she'll probably end up banging Mel.
Yeah. Well, because Judy, maybe she just likes getting what she wants, and so that's another thing. I thought maybe Meg just wanted something out of Mel, but
no, yeah. Judy was just the bully. That's the only reason for Judy to be there, is to be a bully. There's no no deep meaning behind Meg. I mean Meg. Well, Judy, I guess, is there to be the one that sets her over what sets Angela. All right, nah, spoiler. Oh, I didn't mean to spoil it. Sets the killer over the edge.
Talking about over the edge, how about the first possible kill? We don't know for sure.
Yeah, unconfirmed.
He's the one that's not on the body count.
Right, because we don't know. We don't know if he just died from his burns or not.
It's
good old
casualty.
Art. Good old
First
Art,
casualty.
the baldy. Good old Art, the baldy lover.
Well, he's a baldy now. All his hair got burned off. But he's definitely a casualty if he's not a confirmed kill. Right? He's not a confirmed fatality, but he's definitely...
we don't get word later on. Like, we don't get a call like saying, hey, he died in the hospital with his wounds.
Right.
Well, they kind of insinuate the burns are so bad, though, if he's not going to die, he's going to wish he did.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. He even says out loud, "Oh, I'm sure." They even have that funny monologue, which is not realistic, but it works for the film. I'm sure every nerve in his body is on fire right now. He's in unbelievable, excruciating pain that'll never stop. It's like, oh my god, right? So yeah, it is like a fate worse than death. So.
I'll tell you what, though. Legitimately, though, those type of like oil burns, they do hurt like a motherfucker.
Oh God, yeah.
I had it happen to me, man. 3rd-degree burns. Yeah, they are no fun.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I didn't yell and scream. I didn't yell and scream like Art did, but I did laugh like the Joker for probably 2 hours.
I've had those oil burns, like just small. Like at a deep fryer, right, where you drop something in and like a glob of oil shoots out on your arm, and it hurts, and it lingers. You get that big spot. I got scars all over my forearms from that kind of stuff, and dude, it hurts more than it seems like it should, and it hurts for a while. It's not like a paper cut or like getting stabbed. It just sort of like.
Well, this guy deserved
mine are like 20
it.
years later.
Mm-hmm.
20 years later, and I still have like some of the scarring.
Mm-hmm.
The only good thing is I don't really see the scarring unless I get like really tanned over or if I stand near a black light.
All right. You two got burned cooking food. You two didn't get burned after trying to sexually molest the fucking kids, and the kid pushed you into a fucking boiling pot of oil. Oil from
That is true. That is true. Neither of
That
us
is-
did. But
that
I
is
tell you
true.
what,
You
there
assumed
was
correctly.
there was a huge missed opportunity with a corn in that scene. Though.
But then he wouldn't. He
The
wouldn't
cornholing.
really. Would he really have died? Would he have gotten so badly scarred though? He
Yeah, they could have
liked.
prolapsed him.
He might have liked it.
No. Yeah, the cop on the scene could be like, oh, in addition to the horrible pain all over his body, it looks like he has a prolapsed rectum from.
This guy shouldn't have been at a kids camp. He should have been the chef on fucking Epstein's island. He'd have loved it there. So much chicken.
Yeah, well, and everyone that looked the other way was also complicit.
Yeah, James Earl Jones' father was just laughing that shit out. Oh,
Right.
I still can't get over that. I know I already said it, but
Yeah, no, he definitely knew because he was old. He was the second. He was like chef number 2 because he's the one that gets the job when Artie's wheeled out on the stretcher. He's promoted to number
fuck
1.
Artie. You deserved it, Artie.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say.
yeah. But James Earl Jones' dad he's the new top chef. He's like, oh, and honestly, yeah. He was complicit. He knew about Artie, and he didn't do shit. He just laughed about it, and now he's the top chef. So it seems like he should get something that's coming to him by the end of the movie. But like Mel, I don't know if Mel even knew. I'm pretty sure Mel didn't care whether he knew or not, because all Mel cares about is public image.
Yeah, but I think I would guarantee he knew because he was doing shit himself with some of the underage freaking counselors he had in there.
That's true.
Because he was, by the time we get to that stuff, he's already like, oh yeah,
So it's
do like we
Petaway
did.
Camp.
Because she literally says you want to meet up like we did last year.
Oh yeah.
Implying that was going on for a long time with other counselors and at least her.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And Mel seemed surprised that she wanted round 2. Like, oh, you want to come back for more?
It was Petaway Camp.
Oh yeah. Wow, this is my lucky day. Must be my birthday.
Looks
I
like
got a
double
cigar for
pill
this
night.
special. I got a cigar for this special moment.
Yeah.
Do you think he smokes this cigar and knocks the ashes on her back? Because he ain't doing all the work.
Oh, dude, Meg absolutely likes rough play.
Well, she
She likes power.
She gets it in her back later.
Oh, yeah, she does. Yeah, that's true. But I think Meg absolutely likes power because she likes Judy because Judy is bossy, and she likes Mel because he's in charge. So yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Meg likes to be dominated.
Yeah, if it was prison, Judy would be the one handing Meg the cartons of cigarettes and the wads of cash.
Yeah. And Meg would be the
how
one
I-
roughing everyone up for it.
Shove these in your purse for me.
Oh. Prison purse. Well, women have 2 prison purses. Wah, wah. Anyway, so yeah. So Artie's the first. Well, we kind of glossed over. It was when they all went out to have lunch, and Angel's not hungry. So the one nice guy, the muscly counselor, what was his name, Joe or Ronnie? Was it Ronnie?
It was one of short, half shirt guys.
Yeah, he's like Chachi. I call him Chachi?
I think it might have been Ronnie, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll call him Ronnie, and if I forget, I'll just call him Chachi. He actually, he's one of the nicest guys at the camp. He comes over and notices that Angela's not eating. He's like, hey, what's the matter? Not hungry? This food is not your style. Hey, come with me in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm gonna introduce you to the pedo here. Oh,
Ronnie.
See if we can't find something that you might like. Yeah, and so he obliviously, naively takes Angela into the kitchen.
all right. Pedo also leans down and looks right at her and like, oh, you're a fine looking thing. Before he brings her into the kitchen, he's like, Yeah, pedo. Relate to pedo comics.
I mean, girls are not really my favorite, but you'll do. Hey, come help me get something out of the pantry.
Right? And Ronnie just walks away. He just leaves. He's like, hey, I got other stuff to do. See you later, Angela.
You know why Ronnie?
Hey,
You know why
hey,
Ronnie
hey.
didn't know about the kitchen staff. He didn't know about the kitchen staff. Is what I'm saying.
Wait, hey,
Yeah.
Here, you guys want to hear something funny? So, okay, yeah, his name was Ronnie. Okay, Paul D'Angelo who played him. But there was 2 more people here that's listed in the credits, and I just don't remember them in the film. Isaac Hayes is Charlie the chef, and Vincent Pastore as Vince.
Oh no, that's the remake later on.
Is that
That's
the
later
remake?
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
there's a remake. I didn't know there was a remake.
that's all listed under Sleepaway Camp 1. That's why I got really confused.
Yeah, that's later on. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. You guys are spoiling me because I didn't know there was a remake.
Well,
I just found out there were sequels.
Well,
quite
it's a
few of
sequel,
these
yeah.
movies. There's quite a few of these movies.
Yeah.
It
So,
doesn't get any better, by the way. I'm not gonna lie.
So if we didn't already know that Artie was a super creep, he takes Angela in the pantry. Nobody else pays any attention, and Angela goes and he shuts the door. And
He's unzipping his shit, and then Ricky
Yeah.
walks in.
Yeah, immediately he wastes no time. He's grabbing his belt, and you get that sick feeling in your gut. You know, Tommy's like reaching for his piece while watching the movie, and you're like, oh God, no, 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 no. And then luckily Ricky bursts in. He's like, hey, what's going on here? What the fuck is this shit? Or something like that. And, hey, kid, get out of here.
Yeah, pedo's like, I'll kill the both of you.
Wait your turn, Ricky.
I could only cook one chicken at a time.
Yeah, and Ricky, and Angela doesn't move until Ricky grabs her and pulls her out of there, and Artie just goes back to cooking.
Some days you just can't commit a felony.
Have either of you, or I also want to say, have either of you ever seen a gigantic drum of fucking what the fuck kind
Soup?
of drum was that?
I think it was like
Oh,
soup.
yeah, let me tell you something, Slasher. I seen oil drums like that all the time when we used to wrestle. Yeah, oh, yeah. We used to grease up before we went out there in the matches with the madness.
No, I worked at
On a
fast food. We
stove?
didn't have nothing like
On a
that.
stove cooking up corn.
Yeah, it was probably chicken and corn soup he was making.
No, it was just corn. He was throwing corn. Yeah, it seemed to be 3 ingredients in that pot: was water, salt, and corn. this motherfucker was putting salt in the beginning, and there was no salt. And he throws the fucking salt canister, and then he goes and gets another one.
Oh yeah. And he just goes back to work, and
The very rough life of a pedo chef. Jesus Christ! I gotta salt this corn all day for these little chickens. For all these.
what's up? What happened?
He doesn't put chicken in the soup because he's going to get the chickens later.
Yeah. So what happens next? I can't remember now. That's all I can think about is it's disgusting.
Well, I don't know. We were kind of jumping all over the place. Anyway,
Yeah.
with the murders and stuff.
So
You don't have to talk about it like point by point.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of things are kind of like they happen throughout the movie, like like Judy flexing, blowing off Ricky, and Ricky pretty quickly is like, "Fine, fuck you, Judy." He's like,
Judy also decides to be a cunt and go after Paul because he sees Paul likes Angela.
right. Okay, so they're all lined up in that log cabin, and Paul comes up to Angela. He's like the first person other than like Ronnie to actually approach her, but he's her age. He's like, "Oh, hey, don't worry about Judy and Meg. forget about them. You know, he
Well,
starts
Paul
talking
is
to
also
her.
the first person Angela meets too.
Right.
Ricky introduces him immediately to her.
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean, he's the first boy Angela's age that actually like comes up and talks to her because she's so shy. To the point of Judy and Meg mocking her for being quiet. And in fact, other guys come up to her and they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you want to hang out?" It shouldn't say anything. They're like, "Hey,
Hey,
Angela, why are you
Angela,
so fucked
Why
up?"
are you so fucked up?
Yeah,
Looney Tunes? He's called her Looney Tunes.
Actually, I can see kids saying that.
Yeah,
That's
I could
probably
too.
one of the more believable scenes.
Yeah, I got the bullying in this actually was very not with like the murders and stuff, but like the bullying it was kind of real.
Mhm.
I don't mean real as in the actors were really doing it. I'm saying it's like from seeing stuff go on in school and
Mhm.
in the park and schoolyards, shit like that. Yes, it was.
So,
But beyond that, well, are you gonna go some more on Judy?
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so when we actually lead into our first confirmed kill, which was
Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
The water snakes.
Yeah. So you get these kids running off. Were they drinking, or are they just going out to?
two of them, a couple of them were getting
They
high.
were smoking.
Okay.
One of them our first confirmed kill was smoking weed. He wasn't with the skinny dipping kids. All right, also all the douchebags, the 17-year-old douchebags who just lost the game to the 13-year-olds, were trying to recruit a bunch of girls to go skinny dipping with them, and it wasn't working out. And that's where that whole thing started.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, and as usual, it was a sausage fest. You get like a bunch of
Yeah.
dudes going skinny dipping, trying to get any girls to go with them, and they're like, they're being coy, like, I don't know.
In fact, during that fight, the fight in the rec center with Ricky, that they were trying to recruit Angela to go skinny dipping with them.
Oh yeah, that's right. So they go out there, out to the dock, and there's like 2-3 girls, and they're trying to talk them into it.
No, there was a few girls there. There's quite a few girls there. And they were all just looking at them like you're a bunch of douchebags.
Yeah, they're like, fine, well, we're gonna go, and they all like, strip naked and run and jump off the dock. Except that there's a few of them that are in a boat, right? How many were in the boat?
Well, there was one of the kids during the baseball game, and during the fight too in the rec center.
Yeah,
I don't
that was
remember what his
that
name
Mike.
was.
That was that Mike kid.
Okay, I didn't remember.
Mike,
what his
yeah.
name was.
Yeah, so there's like one girl on the boat, right?
And he's talking about water snakes.
Yeah, he's like, hey, watch out for the water snake. Yeah, there's water snakes. And she's like, whatever. You're so stupid, Mike.
We know what kind of water snake it was.
Hey, they only got one eye.
Watch out, they spit.
Yeah, and he flips the boat and dunks her, and she's like, "Fuck you, Mike," and he's like, "Ha ha," and so she, gets up on the dock and walks away with another group, and Mike just decides he's gonna hide under the boat in the air pocket, and I think he's oh wait, he's not smoking in there, right?
No,
he's
he's calling out her name though.
Yeah, he's like singing and being a douchebag.
Yeah, like you know what though, if you start looking at it and you're thinking about everything that's happened in the film, even up to just that point, it really is the poster movie for mental disorder. When you think about it, because why is he underneath the boat in the air pocket singing about her and then just being a weirdo?
It's a public service announcement for teenage stupidity.
Yeah. So what? No. What did Mike do earlier? Because it is relevant.
Well, he got in. First of all, they lost the baseball game to the 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, and then they had the beef at the rec center because Ricky got into the scrap with a couple of them. Remember?
Okay.
And they keep saying like, "We'll get them back for this. We'll get them back for this." They keep saying that about each other.
So Mike
Why are the 15-year-olds and the 18-year-olds having such problems with each other?
I don't know, man. But he's under the boat after he flipped it, and he's calling out to what's her face and laughing, and suddenly you see a head pops up from the water.
A mysterious head.
Right, we only see from the back, and he's like, "What are you doing here?"
Then the water snake came out.
Yeah,
and then we see a second one afterwards.
When we find him dead,
yeah. So he turns up dead, and they find him a great prop, like Tommy pointed out, of his head and an actual water snake crawling out of the mouth. It's really well done.
Spectacular.
Yeah, they used it in the commercial, and so that's the second kill. So we don't really know a pattern yet. We just know.
We just know people on this campsite are getting killed.
Right. So we just know that the chef Artie was not a fluke. Because
Also,
a second kill.
Every time there's a murder, Mel is like, "Oh, we got to cover this up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that.
Oh yeah.
Cover this up.
We can't let anyone find out about this. Just say he was on drugs or something, and
it was an accident.
It was an accident.
Hey, come on, we can't say nothing. Think about the Baldies. The Baldies.
Oh, yeah, he's like the mayor from Jaws, right? He's like, let's cover it up, and if you can't spit it.
He basically was like the mayor from Jaws. Now, when you fucking bring that up.
Yeah, because it's an attraction, right? It's a seasonal attraction. He absolutely cannot suffer bad PR.
Also, I'll throw this out there. Mel didn't care till Meg got killed.
Yeah.
He didn't really care till his piece got killed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Nope, he did not. Hey, Sherry.
Hello.
Hello, Sherry.
So after Mike, who was actually next in line?
Mike was the first kid that was killed.
He was the first, absolutely confirmed kill.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Man, you really want Artie to die.
Artie's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, it's is it worse than death if he just survives in excruciating pain 24/7?
All right, listen. What everyone else did was it was bullying, yes, but it didn't involve harming a kid, sexually violating a child. So
you know what though? Come on, Slasher. Art was willing to give whoever it was that attacked him a sundae. An ice cream sundae. Come on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Right. Because when he's standing on the stool, he's alone in the kitchen, and he's like, well, he gets pushed. He's like, hey, whoa, hey, knock it off, kid. Help me down, and I'll give you a sundae.
And you know what? That's exactly what a pedo would say.
Yeah.
I'll make you an ice cream sundae.
Yeah, I'll give you a treat. I'll give you something you might like. Yeah, like no sense of repercussion. Back of my truck. Right. He's been getting away with it so long, he just doesn't even think that, oh, hey, maybe one of these kids I abuse is gonna be so fucked up that they'll come after me.
Revenge of the Baldies.
God.
How quick everybody was quick to forget Art the minute they heard there was a little bit more money in it.
Yeah.
15 extra dollars a week.
Mm-hmm. Except for the new Top Chef, he got
50.
50, yeah. And he's like, oh, I think I can keep my mouth shut for 50. Yes, sir.
I'll just wait till 6 more people get murdered here. And then I'll be cashing my paycheck.
It doesn't even cost Mel any more money because he's just dividing whatever he would have paid Artie to bribe everybody else.
Mel's busy dipping his pen in the company ink. Mel's a fucking...
He's dipping it in the crayon box.
Jesus. So our next kill was actually, I forget what his name is, but is B-Boy. B-Boy was next.
B-Boy. Dancer?
No, the one that got the bees thrown in on him.
I'm thinking like
gotta
break
take
dancing.
a wicked dump guy.
Yeah,
The guy who
massive
has
dump.
to take a wicked dump.
Okay, what did he do though? What was his crime?
He was one of the people that was beefing with Ricky. No, actually, I think this was right after he beamed her in the face with a water balloon.
Oh
Wait a minute,
yeah.
wasn't
he
he also
beat
one of the
someone.
ones? Wasn't he also one of the ones in that big rec room that was like mocking her? Like, oh, what does this look like? Doing the statue
He was
pose.
part of that. He was part of that crew. He was part of the baseball
Okay.
team.
Right. Okay, yeah. So in
Every one of the bullies was part of the baseball team.
Okay, so they have a pattern. So they were in the rec room fight, and they were at the baseball game, and he beamed her with the water balloon. So at the girls' dorm, Judy and Meg are still ripping on Angela again. They're like, "How come you never take showers with us? What's wrong with you?"
I'll be back. Go ahead.
All right, and Angela decides, I'm gonna go visit my cousin. So she gets out of there, leaves the girls' dorm, and walks over to find Ricky. And there's a bunch of these that crew of male bullies on the roof of a building for some reason. And the one guy just, like you said, he beans Angela in the face with a water balloon, which pisses
they were
Ricky off.
definitely sitting there waiting too, because they had a big bucket of water balloons
Yep.
up on the roof. They were waiting for him.
Yeah, and Ricky flips, and he's like, you motherfuckers, I'll kill every one of you. And I don't think Ricky wasn't able to get at him, was he? Because they were up on the roof.
No, because Mel was there. Mel grabbed him.
Oh yeah. Mel grabs him. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing? I'm trying to cover up a murder here."
Hey, I'm trying to keep the baldies around here. What are you doing making all this noise?
Yeah, you've been a problem ever since yesterday. You must have it in for me, because Mel's weirdly obsessed with Ricky. Being after him. Ricky doesn't give a shit about him. But he's like, hey, simmer down, kid. Those kids, they got rich parents. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I don't want to lose the money. The money and the baldies.
You think that means Meg's a baldy?
She, like I said, she's supposed to be somewhere around 17 in this movie, so I think maybe it's probably a little bit bare down there.
Yeah, well, it's probably the way Mel likes it. He'd be like, hey, you gotta shave that. I'm trying to imagine that you're 15. What's up, Lemon Pie?
Hello, lemon pie.
Yeah. And so Angela doesn't say anything when she gets hit with the water balloon. Ricky does. He unleashes.
Ricky is like Andrew Dice Clay. You fucking cocksuckers! I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. And so then the next scene, a couple hours later, that kid, he's like, I gotta take a massive shit.
A wicked dump.
He's like, I gotta take a wicked dump. So he goes into the bathroom stall and shuts the door. You just see his pants around his ankles, and then a hand comes up in the screen window.
A broom handle.
A broom
Okay.
goes
Under
to
the stall doors first.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Goes through the handle, right? So he can't get out. Yeah.
Then a knife comes through the screen up top.
Oh, is that the same knife that that one random kid pulled out in the boys' dorm?
That's what I thought too.
Okay. Because that was the only knife that got snuck into camp. So we kind of skipped over it because it wasn't real important. But there was a scene in the boys' dorm where, or in their bunk.
Yeah, it was, the shenanigans in the bunk.
Yeah, they put the shaving cream in his face, and then they tickled his nose till he slapped himself.
Yeah. They put the whipped cream pie in the kid's hand while he's asleep.
Mozart.
Pie himself.
That kid's name was Mozart.
Mozart. Yeah.
That was the kid. That kid's legit playing one of those old school handheld electronic games.
Yeah.
While he's playing
like Tiger.
outfield. Yeah, he's doing that while he's supposed to be playing outfield during a baseball game.
Yeah. So when he wakes up and they trick him into pieing himself, he pulls out like his scout knife, and he's just like comes after him, and they're like, "Well, hey!" And then one of the counselors comes in and he's like, "Hey, whoa!"
Half-shirt guy decides to confiscate the knife.
Right.
But yeah, that's gotta be the knife.
I think so.
I
But you
do
just
wonder how Angela knew about it though. Oh, whoops! Did I spoil it?
So you just see a hand, just a hand, with holding the knife, cut through the screen of this bathroom where the guy's taking a wicked dump, and he doesn't hear it. But then you see a beehive, which was introduced in the previous scene.
He's screaming. He's like, "What the hell are you guys doing? Stop it!"
Yeah, because he could hear it. And this beehive had been introduced briefly, but you see, is it on a broom? It's like
it's on a stick. It's on
the
end of a stick. Yeah.
Right. Lifted through the hole cut in the screen and dropped in the bathroom. Now, is he allergic to bees?
Well, it doesn't just get dropped. First, it gets shook out.
Yeah, shook first.
They're fucking shaking it out on the kid. And he's screaming his head off.
Well, I think in his scream, I don't know, but I could have swore maybe he was saying something about allergic.
Mm-hmm. Well, did they mention that in the previous scene where the beehive was introduced?
I don't recall it.
Yeah, I remember. But I assume he probably was, and that's why it made this a perfect murder weapon. So he's stuck in the stall because the broom handle's at the door, and you just hear these angry bees. Now that they've their hive has been smashed, they go berserk, and death by bee.
All because he had to take a wicked dump.
Yeah, never dump alone. See, women are smart; they never dump alone. Y'all got it figured out.
Never dump with a window at your back.
Yeah,
that
military.
Away from that.
Right. Yeah, like military, you never sit with a door to your back. Yeah. So
what was the Vietnam thing? You never light more than one cigarette off a light. Was it three lights off a cigarette?
I don't know. I wasn't in
You weren't in Nam? Okay.
No, I wasn't born yet. So
Tommy, what was it like when you were in Nam?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Slasher, it was a tough time. And I tell you what, there was a whole bunch of slack jaw bundle of sticks in that place for sure. But old Jesse right here was able to take it because I don't like to bleed. But I never light more than two. Never more than two.
What? You don't have time to bleed?
Jesse never has time to bleed.
Dude, have you heard the theories that he was actually gay with Bill Duke in the movie? That's why he gets so upset when Bill Duke gets killed by the predator.
they were bunk lovers.
Yeah. It's just a theory. It's one reading of the film.
I'm taking it that is a newer age theory because only the newer age imbeciles would come up with something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say it's a prevalent theory, but it's a theory I've heard.
Those are the same people that came up with the, and I really didn't care for the movie very much, and I know it's blasphemy, but Lord of the Rings, Frodo and Samwise, everybody say, well, they had to be gay. They had to be gay because there's no way two straight hobbits would ever act like that.
Whatever.
No way, no sir.
Well, no, that's stupid. That's totally different. If three soldiers lit their cigarettes from the same match, one of the three would be killed. Yeah,
this was what I was talking about.
Or the man who was the third on the match would be shot. Wow, I never heard that. I didn't know Sherry was in Nam. Oh, Lasso says they are gay. Confirmed.
All right. In Predator, Blaine and they're gay. Nah, they're not gay. They're not gay. They're just fucking war buddies. All right, they're not gay. No, they're not gay.
Right, Mac? Duke was
Mac and Blaine are not gay. They're war buddies. Maybe they banged some fucking hookers in Saigon together.
I'll tell you what, there's no way Blaine is gay. For all the time he's got chew in his mouth, he doesn't have time to put anything else in there.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
I mean, sure, he wore some questionable shit when he was, wrestling. But
that's when one of you East Coast gentlemen says, "I got news for you." That means you're gay. You guys
No, I
know
don't-
that clip. All right.
I don't
It's
believe
a Law and
that.
Order clip.
I do, however, think that what's his face from Commando is gay, just because of how he's dressed the whole movie.
The villain?
Yes, fucking
Yeah.
Bennett.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Bennett is gay. Just
And-
'cause
and
of
the-
how he's
Come on.
dressed.
Come on, Bennett. Come on, you want to know what it's like. You want to know what it's like, not when you put the knife in, but when you put the wang in and turn it. That's what it's all about, Bennett. Come on,
Well,
do it.
Well, a lot of those '80s movies have. That's a whole topic on its own.
Come
but
on, John.
the way he
John.
dies. How does he get killed at the end of the movie?
Yeah, pipe through him. Come on.
Yeah, he gets impaled with a pipe.
He gets stuck.
Yeah, he gets rammed
Not the
through.
Just not the way he was hoping.
I'm going
Right.
to penetrate you.
Yeah, he gets penetrated. He gets piped down. He gets a deep piping.
We pipe you down.
Yeah, and
No, that
Yeah.
dude. Nah, I'm convinced.
yeah, he was.
And he didn't even have to rub some guy's cheek the way that fucking that guy in the Road Warrior. Yeah, the same guy he played in, like the way he did it in the Road Warrior. Same guy. He had to have that little butt boy on his bike.
So what was it that really did it? Was it the Queen mustache?
Honestly, the first time I saw, listen, as a little kid, I saw that movie for the first time, and I dead said to myself, Freddie Mercury got fat.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Right. Well, and Arnold, he has a platonic relationship with the female in the movie. So that's another thing that feeds into the theory that maybe they're both gay. Because they don't bang. He doesn't bang the girl. Arnold doesn't. They don't hook up. They have a totally platonic professional relationship.
I also noticed the formula for Arnold movies is kidnapping a girl.
Oh yeah, who was it? Was it Jennifer Connelly in that one?
In Commando, he kidnaps Ray Dawn Chong.
Ray Dawn Chong, yeah.
In Running Man, he kidnaps Maria Conchita Alonso.
I don't know her, but yeah.
Oh, Maria Conchita Alonso. She was the girl Nicolas Cage is terrorizing in Vampire's Kiss.
Okay. Oh yeah. Another great film
That
of
poor
its
woman.
time.
Yeah,
But,
another great film.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time.
Cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, people didn't get it. They didn't get that it was a comedy. But anyway, so wait, how did we get into this from Sleepaway Camp?
I have no fucking idea.
These kind of things just happen. Just
Yeah,
it's
tends to
just
go off
run
the
with it.
rails, which is
So
kind
we
of why
left
I
off. We left off at the B boy,
The bee, yeah,
the wicked dump guy.
Yeah, he gets stung to death. So he's the third victim, second confirmed kill. And, of course, Lou flips out. He's like, why are they doing this to me? I gotta cover this up.
He's also suspecting Ricky immediately.
Right,
He's suspecting Ricky is guilty of these murders because it's all people that are fucking with Angela. And Ricky's very protective of Angela.
right. It's so, yeah, Mel has noticed. He's just observant enough to notice what we've noticed. That because Ricky and Angela, they don't go everywhere together, but whenever they are together, somebody fucks with them, and this is the second time one of those people has ended up dead. Hey, Moira.
Ricky,
What's up,
what's
Moira?
up, Moira? How you doing? Moira? Also, Ricky, Mel is screaming at him about being protective of Angela.
Mm-hmm. Because he's
so
convinced.
He's so busy screaming at Ricky that he doesn't notice Meg has picked up Angela and is about to throw her in the water. Or he does notice it but doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. He plays favorites. Mel totally plays favorites, right? With the water balloon guy, especially with Meg. Meg is his number one favorite.
I wonder why.
Well, you know why? Because Meg likes that old cock.
She
Not
likes
the
old
new
balls.
cock, but the old cock.
The
She's
classic
like
cock.
Yeah, Mel's old balls and cigar smoke breath.
Yeah, she
Real
likes
fucking turn on.
Coca-Cola Classic.
Later on, kids would call that getting retro cock.
Vintage.
Yeah. Don't take it out of the plastic. Right. So we have our second dead kid. Mel's freaking out. He's convinced it's Ricky. And
I'd say other than Paul, I feel worse for Ricky.
hmm, yeah.
Paul and Ricky because of, Ricky wasn't doing nothing but trying to be protected.
Right. Yep. And so then after that kid, so after the guy gets stung by bees to death, then we is that when is the next one when they throw Angela in the water?
Yeah, they throw Angela in the water, and then after that is when we get Meg.
Okay, so they're down by the beach. There's a tiny little dock with one boat, and as usual, Angela's just sitting there, keeping to herself quietly, and as usual, Judy and Meg come up and hassle her. And does Paul show up in that one? I think.
Yeah, Paul shows up first, and he shows up behind her. Remember, he's like, "Oh, guess who?" And she's like, "Ricky," and she starts naming off names.
Right, but she knows it's him. That's right. Yeah, so they've formed enough of a bond now that Paul can walk up behind Angela, and Paul's one of the only people Angela will actually speak to, and he, they have a rapport enough that he could just cover her eyes and be like, "Guess who?" And she knows it's him.
I think Angela speaks to Paul, the one woman counselor who's not an asshole.
Oh yeah, the curly blonde.
And does she say something to Ricky? I can't even.
Probably.
I don't even remember if she says anything to Ricky at all.
Yeah, I can't remember. I guess we could assume she doesn't, but maybe she does. If she does, it doesn't really change anything. And so, yeah, Paul talks to her. Does he invite Angela to do something?
They're playing a capture the flag game.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So we're setting up to capture the flag, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, sure, maybe." And Paul leaves.
Yeah, that's where she's talking to Ricky. She's like, "I don't really want to play." He's like, "I don't care."
Right. She doesn't like doing anything.
That's when he's like coming up with. He was going to come up with that idea, but that was after. That was after she gets tossed in.
So, wait, is this near the volleyball thing? Is that around this time where Judy and Meg are playing volleyball and
we could go into both of those. We could go into everything.
And Angela's just sitting there on the bench watching them play volleyball, and this bothers Judy and Meg.
Yeah, the volleyball thing is more fuel for Meg and Judy to fuck with Angela.
Right. Angela never bothers anybody, but they just don't like her. They don't like that she's sitting there watching. She's not playing. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't talk to anyone, and she doesn't do anything. And that just only infuriates Judy and Meg
She doesn't
for
even
no
eat.
reason.
She doesn't even eat.
Right.
She doesn't shower. She doesn't go in the water. She doesn't play volleyball.
Right. And I think
she shouldn't be there.
Right. And like I said, I think that Judy doesn't like that she can't control Angela, and she doesn't like that Angela's not intimidated, and she definitely doesn't like.
She also doesn't like that Paul is taking a shine to him.
Right. She doesn't like Angela getting any attention, especially from a guy. So when Paul comes up to talk to her about the capture the flag, she's like, she just stares daggers at her. It's like, how come Angela doesn't have to play volleyball? She doesn't do anything. She just sits there. And I think it's Meg that goes over to talk to her, right? And starts messing with her.
Meg goes over and goons on her a couple times.
Yeah, and
Meg is a goon. Meg is a fucking goon.
And the nice lady counselor with the curly blonde hair comes up and is like, "Hey, Meg, fuck off. Angela doesn't have to do anything. She's just talking to a boy, that's all." But of course, that's the thing that Judy's most upset about. And Meg is upset because Judy's upset.
All right, so I just want to switch gears for a second. Who's the
In
worst
box
character in this?
collectors.
Who's the worst character in this movie?
Oh, other than Artie?
Yeah.
Probably Mel.
I would say Mel.
Yeah, what a dirtbag.
See, I was gonna go either Meg or Judy.
So if you,
But you guys might have changed my mind.
well, if you set an age limit, like who's the worst character under 18, that changes things.
The biggest scumbag. Is that what you guys mean?
The biggest scumbag under 18. It's got to be Judy or Meg. I don't know because like Meg, like
I'd say Meg because Meg had authority.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to kink shame Meg for being in the,
Oh, I'm not talking about
balls.
that. I'm talking about Meg being a bully.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
a
yeah.
fucking counselor, but she's a bully to the kids that are at the camp.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. 'Cause she has the counselor authority. Yeah. No, it's just because like what does she even want? You know, she just wants control. So she just and she's the one that goes over to hassle Angela a lot of the time, just because Judy's complaining. So Judy, it's funny because Meg is a counselor, so she has actual authority.
Yeah,
but in their relationship, Judy has the real authority because Meg does whatever Judy wants.
She goes up a couple times backing up Judy's bullshit. She's like, yeah. She sees Judy's over there fucking barking at Angela, and then all of a sudden up comes Meg, like strutting up like she's a fucking bouncer.
Yeah, Meg will come up from way off. She just senses when Judy is getting cranky. She comes all the way over and is like, "What's up?" It's her again, and then Meg will go over and hassle Angela. So like Judy is kind of a puppet master, which is by design. That's how Judy likes it. And I think that kind of, I mean, she was probably always a shitty kid, but it's probably like, you know, when she got hot over the winter that she got drunk on the power of her own hotness, and her puppet mastery kicked into high gear, where she really just likes to I won't go as far as to say manipulate, but just make people do whatever she wants. She likes the attention because then she can get whatever she wants from other people, and she's vain, so she's just flexing. That's Judy in a nutshell, is that she's always flexing.
She's the typical mean girl in a movie.
Yeah.
Pretty much is.
Right, but what Judy is flexing her, I guess her influence, her desirability, whereas Meg is just flexing.
Oh yeah,
authority.
because Judy wasn't gonna pick up fucking Angela and throw her in the water.
No.
Judy was gonna do that.
No.
Judy and Angela were almost the same fucking size.
Yeah, I would say, Meg's like a foot taller. But of course, Judy doesn't need to do that because Meg will do it for her. And Judy knows that.
I got a big problem with Meg in this movie.
So they...
I don't like Meg types.
So, yeah, the counselor comes over and tells Meg to take a hike. And then...
Calls her a prick.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's actually when she drops Angela in the water.
Which is like the next scene, right?
What does he say? You're a real peckerhead. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, you're a real peck-ahead, Meg. I think it was Ronnie that calls her that.
I don't remember who it was, but yes, Meg is a peckerhead.
No, it was somebody else. It was one of the other guys. It was the guy that was complaining he had to pick up all the chairs and everything in the water. And he's one that discovers Mike in the
the one who
boat.
found the water.
Yeah.
One who found the water snakes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so so Meg, I think it was the next scene, but Meg just picks up Angela.
Oh, his name is Hal.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. So, yeah, picks up Angela, chucks her in the water. Angela's kicking and screaming, and
Ricky's flipping out.
Oh yeah, Rick. Of course, Ricky goes 0 to 100 real quick.
Mel is interrogating Ricky, like grabbing him by his arm the whole time, while we see in the background Angela getting dragged off to the water.
Dude, it almost seems like Mel is allowing Angela to get bullied.
It seriously is.
Well,
Just
well,
to make the point about Ricky, right?
yeah, just to try to like catch Ricky.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, Mel was allowing it because he didn't care. Just business operating as usual. Kids getting bullied, and then but once he's convinced that it's Ricky that's killing kids, then yeah, I think he just allows it to continue, so he can keep an eye on Ricky. But even though he's not actually catching Ricky do anything, he's further convinced because he's already so convinced.
100% convinced that Ricky's the killer. He is
Right.
no other fucking suspects.
Yeah, he's just watching, and he's like, I know it's you. He has no evidence to suggest that, but
It's like
I
every
know
time
it's
she's
you.
in trouble, you have to run to the rescue.
You're trying to ruin me. He actually
Yeah.
screams at it. You're trying to ruin me.
Yeah, you're always trying to protect your cousin. You're trying to ruin me.
Ricky, that industrial sabotage. The fucking, he goes on the inside and kills your sleepaway camp business.
Yeah, which means that Angela's in on it. She's just a mole. Angela's a plant. She's just trying. She's getting bullied on purpose so that Ricky can sabotage her.
So, how the lifeguard pulls her out, one of the other scenes as she's walking back up the beach with Ricky is the little kids throwing sand at her.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which I think that might come into one of the later kills.
Well, it does come in later because right after that is when they get the counselors together and they give them their agenda. And which one is it? Eddie has to take the youngest campers out overnight on a camping trip.
Oh, yeah. Okay. See, now that answers our question from earlier. Gotcha. See, that's a little detail that the filmmakers thought of and just passed right over my head. But they thought of this stuff. It's a better movie than some people will give it credit for. But we'll get to the ratings at the end. So she, let's see. So then. Mel and Meg meet up in like a hallway or something, and where were they?
She says something to him like, "You owe me a dinner" or something.
Yeah. What?
I forgot I was banging a 17-year-old.
What do you want? Some of that old wrinkly meatloaf again?
I thought you were too old for me now, Meg, but hey. Oh, I still got it. Yeah. So that was, I was like, wait, did she just? Yeah. So Meg.
Yeah, she did.
Propositions.
You're like, yeah, she did.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, hey, my place, 9:00.
What did he say? 9:30.
Yeah, my place, 9:30. So yeah, so Meg is gonna go to Mel's cabin.
Well,
so what's important here is that the setup for Meg is
that
she
the
can't
setup
shower
for Meg
because of the long line.
Yep, and everyone's scolding her. Everyone's giving her the cold shoulder about jumping the shower line because they saw what she just did to Angela.
Right. Yeah. Well, see, it's good that at least some people are holding her accountable for that. Yeah. So she's in a hurry to take a shower. No one let her skip the line.
She goes to the private place.
Yep.
It's a little too private, I guess.
So she's taking her shower. It's like she even tells Judy, "I got a hot date tonight." But
yeah,
she
actually says, "I got a hot date."
A hot date, and Judy's like, "Ooh," but Meg doesn't tell her who. So she goes and she's showering away, and
she's humming in the shower. She's actually humming in the shower.
Right. So I wondered if maybe she was just trying to, like, fuck Mel for the benefits of the power, but she really seems, but no, she's just excited. She's into it.
She got to get that Camp Arawak money.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. She's just, that's her type. And then
she likes some wrinkly and spotted.
He's like, I want a guy that looks like a fucking bowling ball bank from 1972.
I want something that looks like my parents' car. You know, them old worn out leather seats. That's it right there.
Oh. So. Christ.
Anywho.
Yeah.
I think we might have broke Darius.
So she gets murdered. Surprise! She gets stabbed. Now this is one of the bloodier ones. In fact, this might be the bloodiest one. But yeah, she gets stabbed literally in the back through the wall of the shower by the same knife, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. She's like, ah. She
so-
doesn't see the killer.
So what the back-to-back ones is Meg and Judy, right? The curling iron.
Yeah.
Curling
Yeah.
iron up the cooch kill.
Right, because she does have a hot date, and she brings this guy into her bunk, and she's all dolled up and stuff. And oh yeah, there was like the ice cream social at the rec center.
Yeah.
Everyone's down there, which is why Meg was gonna slip away to Mel's, and no one would notice because everyone was down at the rec center. Meanwhile, Judy's hooking up in the bunk. And she knows that she'll be alone because everyone's down at the ice cream social. And
Trina.
You know what?
Trina,
Wait a minute.
Mel
Wait a
is
minute.
a
Wait a minute.
pedo. Mel is a pedo. He is a total pedo.
Hold on. Judy and Meg couldn't have been back to back
Hell yeah, Sherry.
because when Eddie took the kids out there, remember the kids complaining he had to take a few of the kids back to the.
Okay,
The
so
meat
all those kills happened at
Those 4 kills had to happen before Judy. Because remember when Ronnie goes back and he goes to check on the kids, they're already dead and hatcheted.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
But wait, look at what Trina is saying. You guys agree? Mel's a pedo, right?
Oh yeah, well
Yeah.
we already called him a pedo.
Yeah.
We already said that a few times.
Yeah, it's like Slasher was bringing up the chicken from Artie. Yeah, no, Mel. Yeah, no, Mel's definitely a pedo.
Oh yeah, I mentioned a few times that Mel doesn't want to see the kids go because all the baldies. Him and Artie thought alike. They may not have said it, but they thought alike.
Yeah,
And I worry about the replacement cook too because he was laughing just a little bit too much over it.
yeah.
He was.
Mel, Artie, they're too young to know what you're talking about.
That he might as well have been like elbow nudging him.
Yeah, ain't no such thing as too young. You're just too old. Yeah, Mel. Yeah, no, Mel's definitely a pedo creep. He just wasn't as overt about it as Artie.
Yeah, he wasn't. Well, or maybe he
Artie was
wasn't
like
as-
comical almost.
Artie was licking his chops like he just
He
walked
was.
into
He
a
was.
diner after
Oh
starving
my
in the
god!
desert.
He was. He might as well have been jerking off when he watched those kids run onto the
Yeah.
camp. Dude. He might as well have been doing like through his pants.
And the entire kitchen staff was standing next to him.
that's
Artie.
that's the pedo that works with us.
Oh. Moira
Okay,
says, dang.
so obviously the killer goes and takes care of the kids that are camping when they're left alone.
Right. Camping out in the woods in sleeping bags.
Then comes back for Judy.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was right around the time that Judy is getting it. Is it right after
Is getting
that
it.
Mel discovers Meg?
Yeah.
It's either right before Judy gets it, or
Well,
right after.
I think Mel
discovers Meg.
finds Meg right after.
We get like all the scenes in a row where Ricky's walking out of the rec center after they closed up, and
Right,
He's
because he
just
wants his
wandering.
ice cream. I forget
Yeah.
what he was doing, but he showed up late, and someone didn't want to let him in. It's like, sorry, it's closed. The ice cream social's over. And he's like, yeah, fuck you, dickbag. I want my ice cream. Oh, okay. All right. Just make sure you turn the lights up.
Ricky really cursed his head off in this movie.
Yeah, I love him. I can't remember why he was late, but yeah, do you guys remember why Ricky was late?
I don't know. I think Ricky needed some cool off time.
Okay. I'm saying, yeah, it must not have been important. So, yeah, so Meg got stabbed in the back, didn't see the killer. The kids sleeping in the woods, got hatcheted, and then you see Judy had got a guy to come to her bunk with her, and they were making out, and then Mel busts in. He's like, "Hey, Judy, you seen Meg?"
The kid dives under the bed. The kid's hiding under the bed while Mel's in there. Judy's pretending she's reading a magazine in the dark.
Yeah, right. He's like, "Hey, turn the light on. You're gonna hurt your eyeballs.
Hurt your eyes reading."
Yeah. And he's like, "You seen Meg?" And Judy's like, "Huh? What? No, I haven't seen her." And she doesn't tell Mel that Meg had a hot date because she doesn't know that Mel is the hot date. And he's like, she was supposed to be at my place at 9:00. She never showed, you know. But
okay. So after this scene and Mel walks out, then it cuts to Mel finding Meg's body.
Right. In the shower next door. And
then after that is when the killer walks in on Judy.
Yeah. Well, because the kid hiding under Judy's bed is like, I'm afraid of getting caught. I'm going to get out of here. And she calls him chicken shit. Yeah. Judy doesn't like not going to get her way. Or she's like,
Judy wants that dick.
Yeah. Yeah. And this guy's like, I don't want to get caught. I'm getting out of here. She's like, no, you get back here and fuck me right now.
It's like, Mel means business. I can't stay here, man. I gotta go.
My parents might find out I lost my virginity.
So while Mel is finding Meg's body. Hey, what's going on? So while Mel finds Meg's body, Judy's getting ready to do something weird with her curling iron.
Well, she's alone now, and she's got, I don't know, female blue balls. She's got blue ovaries, and and then no, wait, you said the lights were already out? Oh, no. Did Mel turn the lights on, and then they go out?
No.
No, he left them out.
When
the
quote-unquote killer walks in, Judy says, "Don't turn the light on, otherwise I'll have to go to that stupid show."
Oh, yeah. And then...
so that's why the lights were off the whole time.
Yeah. And then you see...
and then we get creeper vision. Well, first we get a shot of the killer in the doorway.
Silhouette.
You see a little bit more than a silhouette. You actually see the face, but you can't really make out who it is.
Yeah, because I remembered not knowing. But Judy knows.
And then
I distinctly remember seeing a three-legged character standing in that
door.
Judy goes... this is the other thing, too, with this movie. There's a couple times where someone goes, "Oh, it's you."
Yeah.
This was one of those times. "Oh, it's you." And then all of a sudden, boom! Right fucking hook to fucking Judy's face.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I'm
Cold
like,
cocks.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Meg didn't see her killer, but Judy does. But now she's out like a light.
And the killer still puts a pillow over her face.
Yep. And then grabs the curling iron,
which is nice and hot.
Still nice and hot because Judy just did her hair.
You actually see that it burnt the pillow too.
Mm-hmm. And what happens next, Tommy?
Oh, she gets her mini hairs curled.
She gets reverse spit roasted by the curling iron.
The bed's pulled aside and the body drops to the floor alongside the wall.
As much as a bitch that Judy was, I don't know if she deserved that because she didn't molest anybody.
Right. You know, there was a king of England. He was like a king or a prince, and he got killed basically like that, where they took like a fire poker and they heated it up and they put it in his butthole and they killed him. So like Judy got the female equivalent of that with the curling iron. But yeah, the whole bed, it was like super strength almost. Like the whole bed just sort of slides out, her body drops, and then the bed slides back. And we know that it can, obscure a human body because the boy was hiding under it when Mel came. See, they thought of this stuff.
I am actually shocked she even felt the curling iron. I mean, let's be honest. The way they were insinuating that she was blown out, I'm surprised it just didn't hit empty air.
Are you saying she was rather cavernous?
Yeah, like throwing a hot dog down the hallway.
I'm thinking even Drew would have needed to climb in here for that one.
Hello.
Echo.
Yeah. So,
So Meg down, Judy down,
Judy down.
little kids down.
And
Yeah,
Mel.
at this
Little
point,
nameless kids who might have thrown sand at Angela.
yeah.
well, that was the point that Eddie came back and he discovered all the kids were hatcheted.
Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, God. Whoa, why? Whoa. Like, dude, it really messes with him. Like, this disturbing sight. And meanwhile, Mel is out there. He's found Meg's body, and he says,
He's immediately blaming Ricky. I know it was him. I know it was him.
He did this to get to me.
Yeah, Ricky's really trying to financially ruin this fucking 70-year-old man.
Yeah, and he's like, so he not only is he convinced, but now he's gonna make him pay. I'm gonna make him pay, Meg.
He wants blood. He actually said, I'm gonna make him, got his finger up. I'm gonna make him pay.
For what he did to you. What he did to me by doing it to you. And he's So then he's like on the warpath looking for Ricky, who's oblivious to this. He's just walking out with his, finishing his ice cream cone.
Ricky's walking to his cabin eating candy, and then Mel just fucking grabs him, drags him into the woods.
Right, and we know everyone else has gone home by this point because Ricky came in when they were closing up. So nobody's around when Mel grabs him. And then what does he do, Slasher?
He fucking Donkey Kong pounds him, both his fists.
He gives him a big slap at first.
Yeah, at first, and then he throws him on the floor. All right. Also, they did a good job because we didn't get Mel didn't. They did a good job of skating around certain stuff in this movie, but letting you know what happened. Like the bees getting dropped in the bathroom stall. We didn't see the bees attack, but we saw the aftermath of it. The curling iron cooch kill. We saw the fucking shadow of it. Like we you didn't see that.
It's the old Alfred Hitchcock method to filming. Less is more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because a lot of these.
The implied vision of what could have happened. Is sometimes a little bit more gruesome than actually seeing it.
Yeah.
Right, and these are kids, but of course, the most notable exception being Artie, who we do see get horribly disfigured by the corn and salt soup.
Corn
but he's not a kid.
Oil drum.
Right. Yeah. Well, right after that is when we get Mel finally gets his. So long, pedo, because he stumbles into the camp archery range.
Oh yeah, it's like very next scene.
That's the first kill where you actually see the person get hit.
Right, because he's also an old man. But I have to say his line after he just beats Ricky and beats him. to the point where he thinks he's beaten Ricky to death. And he's like, yeah, I did it. I did it. I avenged you, Meg. And he realizes that he's just beat a child to death, and all he says is, I gotta get away. I gotta get away from the scene of this murder of a child I just committed.
And then he makes the fatal mistake of running out into the archery range.
Yeah. Because he's out in the woods.
And yet another kill where the victim says, "It's you!"
It's you!
Something along those lines.
It can't be you! that Mel was the only one that thought he knew who it was. And he immediately realizes he just killed the wrong kid. Oh, did someone already get those bots? Let me check.
You got him, or should I get him?
I got
Okay.
I got it.
Thank you.
Oh, yep. All right, cool. Next time. So,
Girls.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what my fucking stream is for, bro.
So this is the first point where we actually have it because I wasn't entirely sure that Ricky wasn't the killer, right? I had left that door open in the back of my mind, and of course, Mel was convinced it was Ricky, and he thinks he just killed Ricky. He takes 2 steps to the archery range, but right before he gets the arrow in the throat, he says, "It's you! It can't be you!" Because that means he was wrong. And it means he killed the wrong kid. Well, he thinks he killed him, but he gets a surprisingly quick death.
Yeah, he does get a quick death.
Yep.
He just gets the arrow to the throat, and we don't see him convulsing on the floor or anything like that.
Oh, that was a slow one too, because he had to choke on his own freaking blood. He got exactly what was coming, the damn sicko.
Yep, pedo.
I'm
gonna call him a pedo one more time for Trina. But yeah. So Artie and Mel have been the most graphic murders, but they're also not children. And it's kind of worse, though. I mean, well, not kind of. That as far as offenses, the things that people got killed for, that like Artie and Mel. Just the fact that it's not just kids abusing kids, but it's adults abusing kids is worse.
They also didn't show those little kids getting slaughtered. So
Right. And so now we know that it's not Ricky, because Ricky, for all we know, is dead in the woods. And the killer just struck again, and arrows Mel. So Mel's dead. And,
also, wait. We also have that Angela sets up a rendezvous.
Well,
we skipped over the capture the flag. Yeah.
No, the capture the flag happened way earlier.
Right, but it's important for this because Angela did not want to participate. Like you pointed out, she didn't want to participate in capture the flag. So while everyone else was doing that, she had met up with Paul.
Actually, no, we did mention it, didn't we? Because we said that she was kissing
Yeah,
on
the
Paul,
capture
trying
the
to.
flag was.
Yeah.
I didn't think we talked about that at all. So,
Yeah.
Well, I know we mentioned it earlier, like that they were kissing,
or
and
she was
going
gonna
to piss him off.
Right, she wanted to meet up with Paul during capture the flag, but when she goes out in the woods looking for him, she catches Paul kissing Judy. Yeah, I was pausing for you guys,
The dreaded Judy.
Judy. Yeah,
That bitch Judy.
yeah. So of all the terrible things that Judy has done, that might be the worst. Kissing Paul, who was such a nice guy and was the nicest boy to Angela, and we thought that he really liked Angela. I developed I was invested.
Paul wasn't calling her a goofy moron.
No.
Why are you so fucked up?
Yeah, no, I was invested in the movie by this point, and I was invested in Paul. Like I liked Paul; he was a good kid, and to see him kissing Judy broke my heart. It broke my heart, Slasher, Tommy.
Cut me, Mick. Cut me.
I guess the very last scene broke your heart even more.
Oh, it
Poor
hurt.
Paul.
It hurt to see Paul do that to Angela. And, when she catches him, he's like, wait, it's not what it looks like. Of course it is, but, it didn't mean anything. I was expecting him to say...
He makes the excuse that she jumped
What's up,
on
Captain? You're right. I thought he was going to say he was just practicing so he could kiss her better.
Oh, Captain, if you wanted to watch the movie, let me know if you wanted to watch the movie. And with Carol.
Never change,
watch
Captain.
The movie and if you want to watch the movie and
Dude,
talk about
I'd watch it again for sure. So no, honestly, it hurt seeing Paul kiss Judy. I didn't think he was going to do that. I thought Paul was too good for that. But Judy, of course, got that big smug grin because that's all she really was. She didn't care about Paul. She just wanted to get to Angela. That's all it was to her. And she got it. And then she got it.
And then she got it.
She got red hot smoking in the pussy.
Yeah, it's probably why she got that, because it was her whoring around, not slut shaming anyone. Just it was her whoring around that that was hurting somebody else in the film.
Captain, no, you didn't, you idiot. You would have walked away 6 times when you were watching the movie. You know you would have. You would have walked away 6 times while we were watching the movie.
And but yeah, no, I think it was the nature, because like we mentioned before the show, there was a relationship between all of the kills and whatever they had done to quote unquote deserve it. And so I think that's why Judy got the hot curling iron poke, because she was fucking around with someone else's mans. But yeah,
Judy,
so
Judy shouldn't have beefed with Angela right away. She should have just let Angela just blankly stare into the oblivion.
Yep.
I guess they all should have.
Yeah, but Paul, to his credit, Paul tried to apologize. He came to Angela and said, "Hey, look, Angela, I'm sorry. I did. She jumped on me, like you said, Tommy. It didn't mean anything. Look, I'm sorry. Let me make it up to you." And Angela's pretty cold about it. She's like, but he keeps apologizing. He's trying to be sweet. So eventually, she seems to relent and say, "All right, meet me. Meet me up at the lake?
Meet me at the waterfront.
Meet me at the waterfront at what was it? What time? Like 9:30?
It was after whatever the social event was supposed to be.
Right. Okay. Well, let's say 10. Meet me at the waterfront at 10. And he's like, "Oh, gee willikers, thanks for giving me a second chance. You're not going to regret this." He doesn't say it quite like that, but that's how it sounded to me. He's happy. He's happy that she's offering. What? Yeah.
Paul is a G. Willikers type of guy.
G. Willikers, you were a little hard on the beaver tonight.
Yeah.
although Paul is a bit of a perv, because he's like, "Oh, Judy," he's doing this thing like Judy's got big tits. Judy doesn't have big tits.
Right, and he said that in that first scene where everyone shows up, where he first meets Angela, and bumps into Ricky. But yeah, he seems to really feel bad. Not saying that he deserves forgiveness for kissing Judy, but he does seem to realize that he fucked up, and he does seem to be trying to make amends in any way that he can. So it's good news to him when Angela says, "Meet me at the waterfront at 10." He's excited, and he shows up on time.
Well, hold on. One thing happens right before he meets her at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie calls Ronnie and lets him know about the 4 children that were hatched to death, and Ronnie calls the cops.
Right. Yes.
And tells the other chick, the blonde-haired chick, to gather the other counselors.
Right. And, if Mel was not arrowed through the throat, he probably would have turned the cops away and be like, "Hey, nothing to see here. We got it all under control. We got all our chickens in a row." But he's dead. So, yeah, the cops are on their way out.
All right, and then we get fake mustache cop.
Yeah, with the fake mustache. Yeah, and yeah, I forgot about the counselors meeting again. They all get together and they're like, "Look, we know that there have been a string of unusual murders, unusual deaths. We'll call it, deaths at camp this, last week. But tonight, because a lot of those all happened within like an hour or two. All the kids sleeping in the woods. Meg, then the kids in the woods, and then Judy, and then they don't even know yet that Mel's dead, and they don't know that Ricky got beaten half to death.
You know what else they don't know? That Angela has offered to go skinny dipping with Paul.
They don't know that. It's true. Well, in fact, that wasn't the original offer. That's what Paul finds out when he goes up to the waterfront. He's like, "Hey, Angela, look, thanks for giving me a second chance. What are we gonna do?" He's like, "Swim." Oh, gee, what are all my clothes? And what does she say?
She tells him to undress.
She says, "Take them off," in that very flat, almost like 11 from Stranger Things kind of way, like, "Take them off." And Paul, how does Paul react to that?
Okay.
He's like,
he just about jumps like Mario trying to get a coin off a ledge.
Pretty much.
"Holy Toledo, really?" "Yeah, oh, sure. I think getting naked would be just swell."
Oh, gee willikers.
Yeah. And, dude. He can't wait. And he might have had a tearaway, just like a tearaway plaid shirt. And, so then, like you said, the cops are coming. No, what did they discuss anything else at the counselors meeting?
When fake mustache guy walks in and finds Meg's dead body.
Okay. Yeah. So when the cops show up, they find the counselors.
So
Yeah,
the counselors
they find like Judy and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
and the other
And they
two
also
counselors.
they also find Ricky, who we find out is still alive.
Yeah. Thank God.
The other two
Can't kill
counselors.
my boy.
The other two counselors go out because they heard that Angela and Paul are not accounted for.
Right. Oh yeah, because they locked down the bunks. That's right. They locked down the bunks to make sure everyone is in. Because they need a head count. That's right. That is important. I forgot about that. Do you guys want to take it from here? Tommy?
Oh well, that at that point is Ronnie and whatever the other girl's name. They're searching, and that's when they come across Angela nude on the beach, singing softly and clutching a large knife.
The same knife.
Yeah.
And
which they think is Paul. They think is Paul laying in her lap at first, but it turns out it's Paul's severed head.
Yeah. Rip.
All right. Well, before we get to see Paul's severed head, we get to see what caused Angela.
Yeah, because they do the flashback scene where the aunt's
crazy,
talking.
Crazy mother.
Right. And like I said, this movie was a mystery. So it had a reveal and a twist. So the mystery has now been revealed that Angela is the killer. But what is the twist?
Actually, no, the flashbacks happen after Angela stands up.
Yep. All right, this is the critical moment.
Or no. They notice that it's Paul's severed head in her lap, and that's when we get the flashback.
Yep.
No, after the flashback is when Angela stands up and Paul's severed head.
That's when Angela stands up. But they already see it's Paul's head at that point.
Right. Okay, so you see Angela is sitting there.
Yeah, we
nude.
see that it's Paul's head, but we don't know that it's a severed head. That's what it is.
Right. So yeah, Angela's sitting there nude, covered in blood. And you see Paul's head in her lap, and they're like, "Huh?" They're freaking out. And then we get the flashback, and it's a flash. It calls all the way back to the beginning of the film, after the boat accident, where the father and one of the two kids.
And they have this scene with like the all black, the Like there's no scenery other than stairs.
Right. So it's like a deep memory, right? This is in the mind, and whereas we had presumed that it was the son that was the kid that died in that first scene, we realize now that we were mistaken. It was Pete, the son, who survived alone.
She said, "There's no way that it will never do. I can't have two boys. That will just never do." Angela, oh, that sounds like it means angel.
Genius, yes. And yeah, so it was Pete who had survived and gone to live with the crazy aunt, Ricky's mother,
Martha?
the doctor. And
I forget.
His head is bandaged up from the collision, so he'd survived, but might have sustained some kind of brain injury. But yeah, but the doctor simply, I guess, she had one son and no daughters, and she had probably always wanted a daughter, and she is telling Pete, "Oh, it simply wouldn't do. No, I need a little girl." Always bringing it up. There's the face. Yeah.
We got a final. We
Fester said that used to be his profile pic.
we got the ending of all endings,
Mm-hmm.
where Angela stands up.
I just find it so funny that they used a still photo. They used a still photo of Rose.
Yeah.
For this.
So that was new information to me, because when Angela stands up, covered in blood, the counselors see her blood-soaked body, and they realize she's got a dick. Like, what? Angela?
She's a boy the whole time.
She was a boy. What? And yeah,
And well, the thing that really throws it off too is because you can notice the body build. I mean, if you notice, like the arms were so much beefier and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they
If you really noticed it.
did the faraway shot.
Yeah, you could tell it was like the body was not of a 13-year-old boy even. Like it was apparently, from what I read about it, it was a university student that they paid to come in and do that shot.
Mm-hmm. A little small guy. Yeah, because I wondered, and this is a crazier twist, but I wondered how the hell they filmed that, in like a legitimate film, because Angel's supposed to be like a 13-year-old. So I'm like, how the fuck did they film that? So that explains that. I figured they probably just had prop department make like a rubber schlong and attach to that, but. No, Tommy was telling me that what they did was they got a different actor, someone from university, to go in and then put a mask on, right, Tommy?
Yes, they did like I think they said it was either a plaster or maybe it was a rubber mask of Angela's face.
Mm-hmm.
And then they cropped her actual still photo over top of the mask because it just wasn't good enough for the one shot.
Yeah, so that's just a still frame that they just they hold there, like the ships from 2001: A Space Odyssey. They look like they're flying, but they're actually just still frames that are being moved through the shot. So this was just a single frame, which is why she just sort of holds that expression, which makes it creepier.
Yeah, and it's so creepy that they end the movie on it and have the credits roll up over this picture, but like they turn it green at one point.
Yep. Credits roll. And so, I think that face is part of the reason why a lot of this movie was kind of left vague and open to interpretation, kind of like Predator. But, this is a joke for Trina. But, that expression made me wonder if maybe Angela had two personalities, and that it was the repression of her true self that led to these maybe blackouts. Maybe she just sort of blacked out and killed people, and then it wasn't actually planned.
There's also a scene where it goes into like the scenes with the black background where there's just like where it's black backgrounds but like random furniture scattered across.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Peter and his sister are sitting on the bed across from each other, poking.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that one. Yeah, they're gonna like show me yours, I'll show you mine, something.
Or it could be like, like just even a imaginary, like now I'm you or you're me, like like maybe it was like
well, they
I'm
never
you now.
say, or are they twins? Because
I
that could
don't
actually
know.
that could
I
be
don't know.
something else that leads into this, because twins are supposed to have all kinds of connections, like
Yeah.
beyond
Well,
the
they'd be
normal
fraternal
physical.
twins too.
Yeah.
But
They did look about the same age.
yeah, they probably were fraternal twins. But yeah, so that was another weird. They didn't go into a whole lot of detail on that one, but they give us enough information in that memory where these kids had some. They they had this weird. Way too early, sexual experience with each other. This weirdly incestuous.
Wasn't that around the same time that we get the flashback of Dad and the boyfriend?
Yeah.
Did we get a flashback of that?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
The dad and the gay lover that were I guess the
Because
gay
there's the two of them are standing in the doorway giggling.
So is the gay lover?
Yeah.
Is the gay lover Ricky's dad? No, he can't be Ricky's dad. The gay lover was related to them somehow.
Is it related to Angela's mental state? Just the dad being gay.
Well, they watched them being gay.
And then,
gay. Jesus Christ.
Well, then I wonder if it's suggesting that maybe the kids saw too much, which is why the twins decided to have that weird incestuous experiment with each other, and then that was just on top of the boat accident, and then the doctor, brainwashing Pete into becoming Angela.
So now this opens up a whole other can of worms.
It does, but partly because of the vagueness.
Is this an anti-trans movie?
No, I think it actually speaks more to traumatization and mental illness not being treated. I really do think that's what it is. I think that's what it's calling out to, because you figure the kid's seen such a traumatic incident, seen a lot of weird things that weren't fully explained to him even before the accident. So then you lead into the accident, and the kid obviously had some kind of head injury. There's your big traumatic injury right there to his physical being. And then, of course, the emotional traumatization of losing both a sister and a father in that accident. Yeah. So then in steps the crazy aunt, who starts brainwashing him into believing that he's his sister. So you're just talking about all kinds of trauma, just heap one on top of another. And I think that's what it's really leading to, is undiagnosed and untreated trauma more than anything else.
You know what makes her an even worse villain? The mother, I mean. What makes the mother a villain is that she's a doctor and she could forge fucking medical documents, as we can see.
Yeah, and actively block, Pete/Angela from getting any kind of like mental health care. Which if Pete was just like if we didn't add the Angelification on top of it, having like a head injury and obviously repressed memories from early childhood, that would be something that, talking to like a mental health professional could help Pete to deal with. But instead is not getting that, but is instead getting this brainwashing from his aunt to become this whole other person. and which is just not compatible with his identity as Pete, and having lost his anchor of his family. I don't even know what happened to their mom, but the dad is gone, and then the only sibling is gone. Pete was the only one left from that family. There's no one there. There's no relationship left to anchor him into his identity as Pete. But instead, now his aunt is has made him into Angela, has brainwashed him into being Angela. You're gonna be my little girl. I want a little girl, and so you're gonna be my little girl. So no, I also don't think that this film is anti-LGBT.
I will say I do think the film was technically ahead of its time, talking about the freaking undiagnosed shit that they do. I mean, because look at some of the brainwash that they're pulling off today. In a way, it kind of speaks to some of that shit. These type of decisions should be made by the individual and should never be forced on them by somebody else.
Yeah, I can see exactly. So, I guess I can see how someone might read that in the film, but I think that it's kind of stupid because it doesn't actually consider the details of the film. If anything, I could also see it the other way, where Pete was a boy who was brainwashed into being a girl. So, if I was coming at it from the T point of view and say that, like, well, if someone is a T, then, it's their sense of identity being repressed in a similar way by, I don't know, society, I guess. But yeah, like I know what it says on my birth certificate, but I'm not an M, I'm an F, right? And then to be sort of forced to live as the other thing would be the oppression, which is what happens to Pete. So I can totally see if that makes sense. I don't know if it's hard to follow the way I just described that, but Pete being forced to live as a girl and become a girl and believe he was a girl. I'm basically comparing that to, let's say, like a trans kid. We'll say the same age as Angela, who is being forced to conform to what's on the birth certificate, right? Whereas, they're like, no, that's not me. I know who I am. But being forced to live as, a certain person. Does that make sense? I'm trying not to use inflammatory language.
It does make sense, and it actually can go in both directions. Because I know we've all seen the videos out there where these people, they went through the trans, operations and stuff like that, and then they had regrets later on, and they talked about how they felt pressured into doing it by people around them, saying, "Oh, you should do it, you should do it, you should do it, and don't think about it yourself, just do it." And then they have regrets later on. And then they find out
that's called trans trenders.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It absolutely is, and it's a real thing. And I think part of that is it goes back to mental illness and not treating somebody. And instead of like treating their root problems first, and then if they decide, hey, you want to do this and you want to be that, go right ahead if that's what you want. But don't sit there and not treat the person for the identity problems that they're having first. Make sure that they understand who they are. And I think that was one of the things that was in this movie. They're talking about there's trauma, there's physical trauma, there's mental trauma, and it all went untreated. And it was almost like a type of bullying that the aunt did to Pete to make him believe that he was his sister, his dead sister. And just think about that kind of trauma right there. Now you're forced to live as your dead sister.
That's fucked up. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely bullying.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and Lasso, yes, they absolutely did get mad about this movie because they said it was transphobic. I was talking with Darius and Slasher before the stream about that. Like, they got all bent out of shape. But you know what? Even if they would have changed some of the things in this movie, even if they would have said, "Oh well, Pete decided to do this all himself," they still would have found a way to nitpick at this movie because then, you're saying that people that trans are murderers. And, it wouldn't have mattered if it was the brainwashing or if it would have been Pete wanting to do it. They would have found something to gripe about regardless.
All right. Well, even back in the day, I remember Basic Instinct even
Sure,
though
so-
it wasn't as but I'm saying like the voices weren't as loud and in your face as they are these days, but there were people complaining because Sharon Stone's character was bisexual, and they were complaining that the murderer in the movie was bisexual.
They complained about that in the 90s?
Yes.
So,
Also, like I said, it was the voices weren't as in your face as they are these days.
oh wow! I didn't realize that. These things were brought up that long ago. When did they start complaining about Sleepaway Camp?
Who the hell knows?
When was it all the way back when it came out?
Well, I mean, these type of people have been around for a long time that want to complain about everything. So, I mean, I've talked about this repeatedly where these things come and go in cycles. I mean, the last big push from something like these type of people are looking to cancel shit would have been the PMRC in the 80s. So, I mean, it comes around in circles, and you always get another version of it later on down the road. Maybe it swings more left than right, but you always get them come back around. So, yeah, I mean, they were complaining about shit back then. They were complaining about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess they get riled up without even seeing the film, right? Just by the optics, right? The optics of Sleepaway Camp having, who's the killer? Oh, the killer was like a gender bent kid who went crazy. I'm like, so without even watching it, they're like, what? Oh no!
Oh yeah, just hearing about it would turn them off and have them complaining about it. You mean, right?
Yeah. Right. The optics is like, Hollywood cares about optics. Big companies, they care more about optics than they do about details, right? Something could be totally wrong, but if it looks like it's right, then they'll be all for it. Like the Johnny Depp trial, right? Like I watched that whole thing, and I'm like, oh, dude, he didn't do anything. Dude, she's lying, right? But the optics of a false accusation, it makes the whole thing look bad. So people will back her anyway, even though she's obviously lying. If you watch it, you can tell she's lying. But if you don't watch it, then you'd be like, well, it's just bad. It's bad optics to say that she's lying.
I agree with Trina here because the aunt was the one with the mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, without a doubt. You know what though? Hinting at what Lassie was saying, she said, I don't think he was really brainwashed into being a girl. I absolutely do think he was, because they don't really talk about they don't talk about what the physical damage, what that trauma he sustained was. What when somebody's in shock like that, how do you know like it wasn't just shock? Maybe there was amnesia involved too. So now you can introduce a whole new personality with somebody who don't really know completely who they are. And if somebody doesn't ever come out of amnesia, maybe they'll get hints of who they were, but you can't say for sure. I mean,
right. And even if he realized at some point that, even if he realized he was Pete, right? Even if he remembered that he was Pete and was going along with it, that doesn't mean he was like willing, quote unquote. It doesn't mean that he was like volunteering for it. If it's done to appease someone else, to make her happy, or just to keep her up, keep her satisfied because he lives with her and she's so controlling. Like, it doesn't mean that. So what I'm saying is, even if I'm not saying he does remember that he's Pete, but even if he remembers that he's Pete and is aware of what he's doing, that he's not Angela.
I think he does remember that he's Pete.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's doing it willingly or that, he's enthusiastic about it. I mean, that's part of that's just another layer of trauma on top of the trauma. It's just another type of, just another fucked up mental layer to the whole layer cake of what's wrong with Angela. And,
well, I don't know, that one scene, the one scene where Martha's talking to Pete, it really did look like, I don't know, maybe that's just the way I was looking at it, but it looked like Pete, like the lights were on, but nobody was home. Because it was the same blank stare that you get later on from the Angela character, like, what's going on?
Yeah, the blank
and
stare.
You only get those moments where you get the light in the eyes and a snap back, like, oh yeah, I'm here. Like when Paul starts talking to her.
Right. Yeah, the blank stare. See, Lasso says he was aware he was male. If he was brainwashed, he'd think he was Angela. But that's kind of ambiguous in the film because I thought he did think he was Angela. That was my reading of the film, was that he does believe he's Angela. You know,
Sorry,
he's
guys.
been Angela for years.
Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back.
All right. You know, that like he has become Angela fully, except at some dark repressed layer of consciousness, which is what manifests when Angela kills. Now, see, what we don't see is
when he feels threatened. I mean, add on to that, it's the same formula that Hitchcock used when he made Psycho. He was Norman Bates until he felt threatened, and then the mother personality took over until the end of the movie, where they say, well, Norman Bates is gone and the only thing is left is the mother personality.
That is a great comparison. Thank you. That I didn't even think of that. Yes, that it is exactly like Norman Bates. And what I wasn't sure of, and I'm still not sure, is whether Angela planned all these killings or if Angela just blacked out into some fugue state and committed the killings and then didn't remember them, because, you know, people have like snapped and blacked out with this level of, like, you know, trauma and repression. I don't know. We don't actually see in the film whether or not these are planned killings or whether it's like another personality, for lack of a better word. Let's see. If he was brain, you can tell he knows who he really is. He refused to get named. Well, yeah, I mean, he knows that, you know, he's got schlong and that he doesn't want anyone to see it. But, like, how aware is he, you know, at that point of, you know, I don't think of Angela as just being Pete. You know what I mean? Tommy, do you think of Angela as just being Pete pretending to be a girl?
No, because if he was Pete, you would have got telltale signs that, you know, that there's a boy thought in there. And
right.
A lot of the things that the Angela character was doing was very feminine.
Right.
They didn't come off as male at all. So I really do think at that point he had bought into he was Angela.
Right, exactly. And the fact that they got a girl to play Angela, you know, that, like, you know, Angela's mind is fully committed to being Angela. Like, there's all Angela all the time from now on, and any memory of being Pete is repressed. This is sort of something that Angela tries not to think about. And that, and Angela doesn't like to, you know, shower with the other girls, not just because, you know, she's hiding a schlong, but because, you know, she doesn't want to have to consciously think about it, right? Or talk about it. It's like a deep, dark secret. I would say shame, but shame is just one of many negative emotions swirling around in Angela's brain. Just going along with being Angela, because he had no choice. He was young and traumatized. Yeah, but he wasn't brainwashed. Yeah, but see, then you think that at camp, when he's away from his aunt, that you'd get something, right? You get some sign of Pete being in there, right? Either with Ricky or with Paul or with someone else, anyone else. You know, being at camp is like, you know, vacation. You're away from everything. That's why all the kids at church camp are acting up, right? Because they're away from their parents. And but we don't get any sign of Pete throughout the whole movie, except for that memory, right? What we see.
Well, here's the biggest thing I'm going to throw in this one, and you're probably going to be like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." Who was Pete's best friend all the way through this? Like, they talked about it from the beginning, like before the boating accident, was Ricky. So you're telling me at no point the Pete personality wouldn't have come out around Ricky, especially when they're out at this campground?
Right.
Pete would have had to have come out at some point, but Pete didn't. It was still shy Angela, even dealing with Ricky that whole time, who was Pete's best friend.
Right. Yeah. I thought about that a little bit, to the extent of, like, does Ricky know that Angela was Pete? You know, like, well, he must, right? Or, like, did you know, I mean, the only other possibility would be that his mother, Ricky's mother, told him that it was the sister who survived.
I don't think Ricky's mother told.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think she just she duped it into that the daughter
wow.
of that
Wow.
accident survived.
Yeah. Okay.
We see she covered shit up. We
Yeah.
see she could cover shit up. So she made it that somehow this bitch got some deep connections. She
Right.
somehow made it that the son died.
Ricky
in that
simply
accident.
can't know that you're Pete. No, it simply wouldn't do. He must think that you are your sister.
The
You
mother
are
is devious.
Angela.
The mother is
Right.
devious.
Right. Now, I mean, if I compare this to Frankenstein, she's Victor Frankenstein, right? And then Angela's just the monster. Yeah, you freeze get naked because he had a kickstand. I missed that part. Remember, he witnessed his father being gay. Maybe he was gay. I think it may have just made Pete confused. See, no, that's the only dangling thread that I'm not real sure about. But as far as his consciousness, I think he's just all Angela all the time. And like Tommy said with Ricky, like it seems like Ricky believes that Angela is just Angela, and at no point did any sign of Pete come through to anyone. Not even when Angela was alone. Do we ever see Angela? I think we do, once or twice. But yeah, no, it's just all Angela. So yeah, it's. Oh, go ahead, Slasher.
No, I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
Oh, well, you know what? No, Lasso. Initially, when she's talking, and she says, "You're Angela." No, Ricky wasn't there at the time.
No, he wasn't there.
He steps in afterwards. When
no, there's no sign of Ricky at that point when we get.
No, I'm saying it's much later. It's afterwards when you're seeing him getting ready to go to camp. I mean, you don't see Ricky in those shots. And the other thing about the gay thing, I'm not too sure about that either, because first we get the scene of her saying, "Oh, you're Angela now." We get the scene of the father with the gay lover in bed. Then we get the scene of the kids sitting on the bed pointing at each other like they're getting ready to play "Okay, show me yours" or whatever they're doing. So I'm not sure.
Maybe that set up a confusion. Maybe it was intended to set up like an early age confusion in Pete's mind of ambiguity, and then after the head trauma and then the brainwashing, that all that together was enough to sell him on it and be like, yeah, okay.
You know what you're doing right now, Darius? Oh, you're calling this an anti-trans movie.
Oh, no. Because what it was done it was messed up.
I'm kidding.
No, but you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a bunch of damn transphobes on this panel right now. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself, bunch of bundle of sticks.
Well, but I think Trina agrees with all of us that the mother / aunt was the real villain.
The mother is the most batshit.
Yeah.
All right. I could only imagine the body count on the mother. This woman was a doctor. This woman was a doctor. Holy shit!
So what if the gay lover was her husband? What if?
I was wondering what the whole
how bad is she? That
she's got to be pretty fucked up in the head, right?
She's hiding this shit and she's keeping it a secret. Like, I mean, there's a lot of fucked up shit going on.
Yeah,
right. Because we never see Ricky's father at any point,
and it's never mentioned. It's never mentioned.
You'd say there's some bats in the belfry right there, right? That's a fucking couple of sandwiches short of a picnic with the mother. No one talks like that. If I met someone in the street who talked like that, I would like immediately walk away from them. I wouldn't say a word. I'll stay away from the person that says at me.
Yeah. Well, Lasso says she just doesn't agree with the assessment that he believed he was Angela, and I totally thought he believed he was Angela.
But
it's like even the part where they were kissing on the beach,
But this is another
if
thing,
he
though.
believed he was still Pete, wouldn't he have pulled away? He didn't
We-
pull away from Paul until Paul went to try to take the shirt off.
But
Right? Yeah.
does anyone also not realize we didn't see 8 years of Paul being trained to be Angela? Because
Pete.
Pete being trained to be Angela, like, because it goes to the death, and the girl screaming, "Help them!" And then all of a sudden it says 8 years later, and it's Ricky and Angela going to summer camp.
Right.
So
We skip over all of it.
There's 8 years of mental torture for Pete turning into Angela.
See, Ricky had to know he was a boy because they were the same age, and Pete looked like a boy, went to live with the aunt. Yeah, but we kind of touched on that because Ricky might not have known, because the doctor could have put Pete at some other location. She was a doctor. She could have put him up in some kind of hospital while and by the time Pete even got there, Pete was brought in as Angela, and then allowed to recover in that hospital from the head wound and all that. And then by the time it was time to leave the hospital, like that was Angela. And so then bringing Angela into the house where Ricky lived, be like, oh, Angela's coming. She's coming to live with us now. And Ricky's like, oh, okay, cool. And then and so for all we know, because we don't know, we skipped over, like Slash said, we skipped over 8 years. So there is ambiguity in the movie, which I think is one of the good things about the movie. That ambiguity is we can all watch the same movie and read different things out of it. What did I say? What did I say? Yeah, no, he because Ricky doesn't seem to, like we mentioned earlier, Ricky doesn't ever seem to indicate
That he
between
knows
him and Angela.
is Peter. He doesn't know Angela is Peter.
Or we're gonna fight. This is that's the fun part. And but yeah, he doesn't seem to indicate that he knows what secret Angela is hiding, right? Angela's just shy, right? We don't really know if Angela's hiding anything throughout most of the movie, and Ricky doesn't seem to know. And so it's I consider it to be an open thing, but the way that I watched it, I had a certain reading on it. And,
Ricky's also a kid.
Goofy face.
Ricky's
Ricky's a kid.
Ricky's also a kid, so it's kind of.
Well, I think there's also a bit of a tell with Ricky that he thinks that it's Angela. It's the overprotectiveness. Like, okay, if it was a cousin and it was a boy, would you be protective? Absolutely. Would you be as overly protective as Ricky is if it's a boy? No, I don't think so. I think it's because he thinks it's Angela. He thinks it's a girl, and that's why he's so overly protective of what he believes to be her.
Right, and his mom says, "Oh, take care of my little girl."
Yeah. I'm sure she was drilling that into his head for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a master of propaganda.
But yeah, so this was the second time I talked about this movie on my channel, but the first time it was only like a 20-minute video. There was a lot more to unpack that you could talk about for 20 minutes with this fucking movie.
So, somehow you managed 2 hours and 10 minutes more. Actually, almost 20.
So wait, Trina is all in on Mac and Blaine being gay and Predator, but not at all on Angela believing that she's Angela. I'm just that's a juxtaposition. Oh, now it's quiet. No, I'm not calling her out or anything. I'm just saying.
I don't want to see a Predator remake where Mac and Blaine are gay.
I meant on the subject of of interpretation of a film based on your reading of it. That those guys, oh yeah, totally gay. But there's no way Angela's not Pete. It's okay. We can keep fighting. We could fight. We could fight forever better if you want. That's you guys know I enjoy. I fight with Jens constantly, and then
who doesn't fight with Jens?
And then I invite him back to do it again the next week. But no, I remember you guys had not really talked about it, but you'd mentioned this movie by name many times, and it was there was sort of like a, oh, she's only kidding about. Oh, okay, all right.
Well, this is a cult classic.
Mhm.
This is
But it's a special film in so many ways that when you guys would mention it, there'd be a certain stank on it. It'd be like, oh, like Sleepaway Camp. Like, oh man, yeah, Sleepaway Camp.
Would you
Like
say
Sleepaway
Would you say there's a stank on this after watching it though? Would you say there's a stank on this?
Yeah, I should probably call it. There's a certain spice on it when you mention the name. But yeah, no, it has. There's a certain. Yeah, this movie has a reputation.
There's a certain stigma attached to it.
Yeah, with that too. Yeah, that sleep. You talk about like slasher films, horror films, or 80s. I guess
Schlock
horror films. Yeah, schlock.
That is it. I have made up my mind. I don't know how. I'm going to find one of these guys that made those aftermarket Angela retro reaction type figures, and I am going to get one to put on the wall. and by golly, by gum, I will put it on freaking YouTube.
I thought you said they were out of stock though.
Most of the sites there kept saying out of stock. There's got to be somebody out there that's selling one.
Angela probably has a bigger bulge than Namor in Wakanda Forever after they digitally removed his package. That's a whole other thing.
I think this was a fun movie, though. I mean, okay, was it weird? Yeah, absolutely weird. But I mean, you want to see something different when you watch a film anyway. Because if you're watching films and you're getting the exact same type of storylines every single time, nah, that shit's boring. And that was one of the reasons why I liked the original Psycho so much from Alfred Hitchcock, and then Psycho 2 and all the other ones. Because I by the time Psycho 2 came out, I was old enough, obviously, to be able to go see it. And I went and seen it with my mother. And then I seen every single one after because she loved those movies to death. And I liked them because they were so much different than all the other type of murder, mystery, horror movies that were out there. It was just so outside the norm because all the other slasher movies, here's the killer's killing. And that's pretty much it. This one is another one where it kind of like it takes you for a loop. You're really not sure who's doing it. They lead you in one direction and slap you in the face when it comes to the reveal.
Yeah, I didn't really watch horror movies as a kid, but I was especially not interested in the slasher movies. No offense, slasher, where it's just a series of kills, and that the fear comes from just like, oh well, most of them are gonna die, and they're gonna get killed by this guy, and so I wasn't that interested. But,
Could I ask you guys this? Would you say that since this is Sleepaway Camp and it's a fucking, camp movie, like a movie about a fucking camp, like
no, it's not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's not a Christmas movie.
Oh my God, we were gonna fight about this.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie, though. I'll fight people to the grave. Gremlins is a Christmas movie. But all right. Would you say that this is immediately piggybacking off the success of the Friday the 13th movies, being that this has to do with the camp and it's a slasher movie? Probably, right?
I wouldn't think so, but I don't know if I'm qualified to make that determination. I have never seen any of the Friday the 13th movies except for the reboot.
Okay, but you base it. All right, you don't have to know the movie. You don't have to even seen the movies to know that it's based on a killer in a camp, right?
Yeah, Camp Crystal Lake. The first one was his mom, and after that, it was just him in a series of weird demonic resurrections, and so yeah, that's the thing that's missing, which was going to be the next point I was going to make. But to answer your question, I wouldn't think so because it's such a different kind of movie.
Oh, yeah, it is. I'm just saying, like, the basis. Sometimes you could just take the basis of something and rip it off successfully. Although this wasn't like...
Well, I could see in a small degree how they probably, used the success of something like Friday the 13th to actually launch this one, because you figure that there are the elements, okay? So if you just say, because it's based on a campground, is that enough? Is that enough to say that this is based off Friday the 13th, or they use that as a blueprint? No. But when you start adding other elements, accident in the water, Jason dies in the water by drowning. The kid and the father die in the water by a boat accident in the water. So you start adding other elements like that. I would definitely say that this probably inspired the initial direction of the movie. But once it gets to that point, I really do feel like there's some Alfred Hitchcock in there. I think there's a lot of other elements in there that I wouldn't say that this is, 100% this wasn't based to be done off of the success of Friday the 13th. But I do think it used some of the elements from that movie to how to launch this movie and where they wanted to take place.
Well, Tommy brings up another good question, which is, was this movie in any way inspired by movies like Friday the 13th, or did the success of Friday the 13th simply allow movies like this to get a green light in Hollywood?
That's another thing, yeah, because people spawn copycats.
Right.
Whether they want to do it or not, people spawn copycats.
The suits don't know anything. They don't know what's good. They don't know why it's good. They just know what people are watching and what's making money. So to them, it's all like keywords and hashtags, or the 80s equivalent of that, where it's like, oh, a camp movie. And they can have scripts piled up on their desk that they've been ignoring for years and be like, a movie about a camp, kids die. Nobody wants to see kids die at a camp. And you got Mel. You got Mel in Hollywood smoking a cigar, like, nobody wants to see kids die at a camp. That's bad for camps. And but then, Friday the 13th blows up. It's a huge hit, and they dig out this script for Sleepaway Camp, and they're like, oh, another camp slasher movie. Yeah. Hey, we got this slasher movie at a camp. Green light.
Also, we could make this for like a quarter of the budget.
Yeah. Yeah, we hardly need any special effects. All we need is a rubber dick and some blood.
Hell with that. We can hire one from a university for less.
Yeah. 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 But as far as like the movies are just a killer killing, I never found that interesting. But the added layer of having a murder mystery, right? Because like Agatha Christie, I don't know, I wouldn't consider Agatha Christie stories to be like horror, but they're, murders do continue until they find who done it, and who done it is like somebody that we've already met. And so that was an element of Sleepaway Camp. That's more interesting to me because there is a mystery, and I'll watch him.
I think at the very least he needs to watch the original one, because that rebooted version was a trash fire.
Oh, it's terrible. I saw it in the theater too. Yeah.
Yeah, so did I, and I regretted it. I almost walked out of it. It was so bad.
It made me not want to watch
You never watched one single Friday the 13th movie in your life?
No. That's like some of the other like major, slasher franchises. I have seen some of them, and I was like Freddy. Freddy's cool. Freddy's fun, and most of those I still haven't seen though. But yeah, no, like Freddy's cool. There's something special about Freddy that sets him apart from other kills. But like Jason, I don't know. Jason is probably the least interesting to me as someone who's never seen it, because he's just a guy that kills. And it's just not interesting to me. He's just a guy that kills, and most people get killed.
You know what? Everybody shits on Part 8 when Jason takes Manhattan, but I'm telling you what, some of the shit in there with Jason is absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, but you know what? They shouldn't even call that Jason Takes Manhattan. They should have called it Jason Takes a Riverboat, because he's on the fucking riverboat for most of that fucking movie.
No lie right there. There's absolutely no lie there.
He's in Manhattan for the last 10 to 15 minutes of the fucking movie?
No, I think
so many of them.
Closer to 20 some odd minutes, but yeah, it's the very end.
God, there's so many of them. I was watching probably Red Letter Media going through the entire franchise. I couldn't believe how many Friday the 13th movies there were. I'm like, oh my God, how are there this many? They don't start getting good until around number 6. I'm like, what?
I think there was only 3 years in the 1980s that a Friday the 13th movie wasn't released.
And Siskel and Ebert hated them.
They hated all these types of movies.
They just thought it was like murder porn.
Yes.
It was just they thought it was real bottom of the barrel stuff. And the fact that it got a big enough budget to make it into the theaters, it's a mainstream movie. They found it like broke their cinematic hearts. They're like,
The
this is
only
garbage.
the only type of these movies that I remember them actually liking, like watching their reviews back in the day, like was Halloween. They only liked Halloween because they went in on the story, like all that. Everything else was like you're just murdering teenagers and young girls. Yeah, but this is a fucking genre.
Yeah, but
I
like
mean,
Carpenter is a special guy because he makes like I want to say big budget B films, but his films they're like they could have been B films, but he makes them into A films. You know, like they're kind of pulpy, and but he's the real deal. He knows how to make real cinema. So Halloween is like it's a slasher film. It was one of the first, I believe, that kicked off the whole wave. But it is a good film. In fact, I just watched that on like right around Halloween. I had seen it, so I watched it for the second time. Still good. I haven't seen any of the other Halloween movies. Only like the original, the Carpenter one, which I've seen twice, and then I saw the reboot.
you never saw Halloween 3?
No, Season of the Witch.
The one that
No.
had nothing to do with
That's Seasons of the Witch.
No.
I hated that one.
No,
But
Halloween. It
God, I
was
hate
the Halloween.
Horror gets more respect.
well, you know what's funny about that is after that came out, McDonald's had done the Halloween buckets, and they based it basically on the mask because there was a witch, there was a pumpkin, and then there was a ghost.
I would say horror used to get more respect back when like there would be magazines like Fangoria and shit like
I
that.
remember Vanguard. Yeah. Now, see, I like horror. I like horror now. I just I didn't get into it as a kid. I only liked sci-fi and like action movies as a kid, and I just didn't find horror interesting. But I was also not watching it, and so now that I'm more of like a cinephile as an adult, and I've been through so many like film history and film studies classes, and and then like film production stuff, and then watching like IFC and just doing this with Slasher and sometimes Tommy.
Yeah, this is a bit of a film class, right? Of what not to do when making certain movies.
Yeah, but ultimately the best film class is just watching the films. That's how Tarantino did it, right? He was his obsessive Asperger's-y devotion to just watching every film ever made if he possibly could. And so he would just watch like an entire genre or just from one country, right? I'm going to watch every spaghetti western ever made. And then that's just all he watches until he knows all the tropes. He knows all the directors and the composers by name. And so to him, watching films is a type of film studies. I mean, it's like you could see it as the primary type. And some people just watch movies that way. Like my mom will watch a movie just to pass the time, right? But like to someone who's into film, like that's it. You watch movies that way because it's because you get into it. Yeah, see, Trader remembers Fangoria. But so now I appreciate horror much more than I would have as a kid. But it was like it didn't seem interesting to me as a kid because it was like, oh yeah, people are gonna die and people will be scared. I was more interested in like sci-fi, but I can see why other people would find sci-fi boring. But having seen a lot more horror now, there's a lot I do like. Some of them are bad, a lot of them are good, and like I could even just go through Saw. I'm not going to, but like I saw Saw in the theater in high school, and I thought that movie was awesome. And then I saw Saw 2. I skipped 3, and then I think I came in on like Saw 4. It was 4 later on cable, and they had a guy who was like in this device that was like twisting him and snapping his bones, and I was like, no way, Jigsaw would never do that. That's because all of his puzzles require people to hurt themselves, right? If they do nothing, then they don't get hurt, but they choose to act because of the situation that he sets up. And so I was calling bullshit on this movie for not being true to the series. So I was invested in Saw by that point. I'm like, no, this one's lame.
You tapped out of the series.
Yeah. I'm like, this film is not true to the series because Jigsaw would never build a trap where a guy just gets twisted up and broken instead of having to do it to himself. Like that's how he works. That's what he does. So yeah. So when I had that thought, I realized that I was invested now. So, but there's still so much I need to see, and so that's sort of the silver lining on all of the classic films I haven't seen is that I could still watch them for the first time now. I watch movies like Time from Midnight's Edge. Will go off on random tangents about old movies, and I just add them to the list. Like Jaws, I watched Jaws a year ago for the first time, and it was awesome. And,
a year ago?
Yeah, I watched it. I'd never seen it, and then it was on Netflix. So, and my girlfriend had never seen it either. I was like, "Hey, can I watch Jaws?" She's like, "Sure." And we watched it. We loved it.
And here. You want another weird one to add to the list? I would almost bank that Tom has never mentioned it. Salem's Lot.
Oh, is that Stephen King?
I've never seen.
Is that Stephen King? I think it might be. I forget.
It's based on a Stephen King book.
Yeah, but I mean, I have that one sitting in my collection. I got the steel book of that, and I had introduced that to my brother because he had never seen it. I mean, granted, with his memory, he probably don't remember seeing it with me, but that's another one. It's got a weird setup. It's kind of a really slow burn, getting to know the characters, and then you start getting hit with all this weird shit, and it's the way it's done is a lot different than some of the other movies, especially when they're dealing with anything that involves vampires. And there's some really creepy elements to it.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing about him writing that. That was one of the books that he wrote, and he didn't remember it afterward because he was either like drunk or on cocaine. He was just like banging it out on his typewriter, like. And there's like the vampires have like these claws that are like scratching at the screen door. I think I had an English teacher that was because she was really into Stephen King, and I'm not a big time King fan or anything. I've never read anything by Stephen King. I do read books, but I've never read a Stephen King book. But it's funny that there's a ton of Stephen King fans up at the AA club. I don't know why, but they're all really really into Stephen King, and they gather outside for the smoke break, just talking about the latest Stephen King novel.
They spent too much time reading The Shining. That's what happened.
I don't know. No, because he's pretty prolific. He has all of this work, and he has different eras, because he used to write drunk all the time, and now he does. It's like Eric Clapton, right? Like, Cocaine Clapton was my favorite, right? Layla, and then he got sober. Well, he said that he switched to alcohol, and he did like Unplugged. I'm like, nah. Not that into it, but
I'm just gonna say this: King should go back to being drunk. Then,
yeah, him on Twitter. Oh my god! But it's like people call him out on the stuff. What book was it? The one about the kids. Well, there was It, and then there was also the other one, The Stand. No, not Stand. But yeah, the stuff, some of the situations he writes, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? But not trying to get into the whole thing about Stephen King, but just as far as like a horror, Salem's Lot is one I haven't seen. I have to add that. Rob Zombie is a guy who makes horror films that don't actually seem interesting to me. And,
Rob Zombie only makes movies so he could put his wife in them.
Yeah. Well, people were going on about House of a Thousand Corpses.
Does anybody else put Rob Zombie's wife in movies? Does anybody else cast Rob Zombie's wife to be in a movie?
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
Rob Zombie movie at that point, shouldn't they be called Cherry Moon Productions?
Yeah. Well, when I was in high school, all my friends who read Fangoria magazine were really into House of a Thousand Corpses, and the one with the child orgy. Yes,
that's a movie a lot of people love that I did not. I really did.
So I still haven't seen House of a Thousand Corpses, but I saw the first 20 minutes of The Devil's Rejects, and that was enough. Shut it off. No thanks. I don't know what this is or what it's trying to be, but it's not for me. So and then
you know what's sad? The Devil's Rejects is probably the best one out of the trilogy he did for that, because it was House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and then Three from Hell. And don't get me wrong, there was a few parts in Three from Hell that were kind of funny, kind of amusing, but for the most part, It's not something that I would want to rewatch. Damn sure not
That's
over and over again.
That's exactly how I felt when I watched. I think I watched the whole thing of House of a Thousand Corpses. Like it has some comedic parts, I guess.
Is it supposed to though? You know, that's
and Devil's Rejects. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't treat it
I
as like him either.
I will say this though. Given a choice, I would pick any Rob Zombie movie over a Dee Snider movie. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh wait, that movie he did, was it that bad? Was it bad? What was it? Strangeland? Was that a bad movie?
It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. I've only seen one Rob Zombie film, all the way through, and I actually liked it. It was the animated one, El Super Beasto. It was the something world of El Super Beasto. It has Tom Papa as El Super Beasto, and he's basically like a Mexican wrestler hero, but he's not that great of a hero. He's just a horn dog. He's just like trying to get laid, and then his sister is like this hot blonde who always gets her tits out, and she's like fucking a robot. It was weird, but it was a fun movie. I saw it on IFC and I enjoyed it. But that's probably going to continue to be the only Rob Zombie film that I like. But as far as like the only reason I want to watch Friday the 13th now is because of the slasher, because he talks about him. You know, even like watching Red Letter Media's run through the series, right. I'm like,
I don't love the Friday the 13th movies. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, Tommy.
Okay, all right. Well, then it'll be Tommy.
I mean, some of them I like. Some of them are really fucking stupid. Some of them are really fucking stupid. Like the one where it's not Jason.
That's it. We're going, man. The Warriors, the baseball.
We're gonna fight about this.
We're going at it.
All right, Tommy, you like those ones where it's not Jason?
You know what? There are two movies in the Friday the 13th family of movies that I can't stand. Number one is Part 4, where it's not even Jason and it's a camp counselor that's doing all the killings. I hated that one. Couldn't stand it. The other one is Jason Goes to Hell. I like the very beginning of the film. I like the very end of the film. You could take 90% of the shit in the middle and throw it right in the trash can. That could be like about a 25, 30-minute movie, and I'd be happy with it then.
All right. The what's the first one you said? Part 4? Yeah, that one fucking sucked ass.
Yeah, New Beginning.
Get him, Tommy.
Atrocious.
Get him, Tommy.
I didn't even make it to what'd you say, Jason Goes to Hell? I tapped out after Jason Takes Manhattan.
You know what? A lot of people shit on Jason X. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't mind it. And there was a few comedic parts in there too, like him beating the AI camp counselors that they had generated. He's beating them against a tree.
Oh my god, that sounds campy as hell.
It was so funny. It looked like something that would have been in there one of the earlier movies. I like that shit. And then, of course, I thought they did a stellar job when they finally did Jason versus Freddy. I thought that movie was incredible.
I did.
Killer soundtrack too.
I saw that. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was, awesome. I thought it was good.
Exploitation. That's what Siskel and Ebert thought of Friday the 13th movies. That it's just exploitation films. It's just just exploitation murder films.
It was interesting to see some of the actors that were in some of those early Friday the 13th films, like the very first one. Kevin Bacon is in it.
Gets the arrow through the throat.
Like Mel.
From under, yeah, but this one's different because it's from under the bed.
Oh yeah. Arrowed. Yeah.
Is it an arrow through the throat? What Kevin Bacon gets through his throat when he's in the bed?
It's like an arrow that's pushed up from underneath the bed. Yeah, right through the throat.
This all came from your question to me about the film, talking about genre, as far as like just slasher films versus a murder mystery. Right.
And now we're sitting here like SpongeBob 1 hour later.
Yeah. Well, this is what we do, off the air all the time, but yeah, I think it's that mystery that keeps me invested. in the in the continued murders, and also good character stuff. But, yeah. What was your original question, Slash?
No, that's all right. We're gonna wind this down. I'm over 3 hours. I didn't want to go over 3 hours.
And Trina stuck it out with us. When the franchise studio runs out of ideas, they set the movie in hell or space. Yeah. Yep. Or the Hood. Leprechaun in the Hood. Oh, I guess Jason Goes to Manhattan is kind of like going to the Hood, except
Jason Takes a Riverboat. I'm gonna petition to get that movie called Jason Takes a Riverboat.
How come they never come to Detroit?
I still wish we would have got the Jason movie that they were supposed to have originally, which was going to be Jason versus Freddy versus Ash.
Versus Ash.
I mean, that was the only.
I
hated Jason Goes to Hell, but I did like the idea that they kind of brought the Necronomicon into it to explain why Jason was so supernatural. In a way, I liked it, but that only happened because New Line Cinema had picked up the rights to Friday the 13th, and then they had a deal. With everything with the Evil Dead franchise, but that deal fell apart by the time they were going to do the movie, and nobody could agree on who should win the fight, whether it was going to be Freddy, Jason, or Ash. Now, obviously, Freddy and Jason were both under the same umbrella, and it was just the idea that they wanted Ash to win the fight, and that's why the movie never happened, and they cut it down to just Jason and Freddy.
Oh, Trina liked that one. She agrees with you, Tommy. Yeah, so like some of these movies, they have real good concepts with a lot of potential, and they make so many of them that some are good and some are bad. I think like Friday the 13th really evolved into its own thing over the course because the first one is like, oh well, his mom is the killer, and then then by that movie you've got the Necronomicon and Jason's going to hell, and then he's fighting Freddy. Like I don't think they ever imagined that when they wrote the first one, but. But I can't remember your first question, Slasher. But yeah, this is good. I enjoyed it.
So you give this, what's your rating? What do
you know what? We're not going to give it a number. Let's give it a thumbs up. Because, I think this is an underrated film. I think it gets a lot of criticism because it's kind of a B film. It has a low budget, and it is kind of corny. Some of the acting is bad. But I think that even just running through it again and hearing you guys talk about the details, I think they did really think it through. They put it all there. It's a very well written film. It's all in the script, and little things that you don't notice actually do pay off later. Even small things like the bees or the people throwing sand and this and that. Yeah, but I think this was worth a watch. It's worth another watch. I think. Yeah, it does have some stank on it for its reputation, but I think it stands alone apart from other.
You're too young to even understand what's on your mind. Then, good buddy, there ain't no such thing as being too young. You're just too old.
Oh, Hardy, you crazy pedo! Hey, leave Hardy alone. He likes what he likes.
No, let's not get a hashtag for Artie, please.
His cooking brings kids to the yard.
He wants to cook up that chicken.
Oh. All right.
This was all right. Tommy suggested to me many times to review this.
Yeah.
And
I
already
hear my rating. I got the perfect rating for this one, Slasher. Are you ready? Okay, everybody, if you want to know the rating on this movie, I'm not going to give you a 1 through 10. I'm not going to give you the thumbs up or the thumbs down. I'm going to give you this movie is 3/4 erect. Go ahead and watch it.
And keep an open mind and do your own interpretation from watching it.
I'd say it's worth a watch. I give it a thumbs up. It's creepy.
And not too much. Not too much blood and violence. That was
not really. There's some good makeup work with some of the violence that we see.
Right, but it doesn't need it.
That's the thing. What did we get? We only got about, I think it was like 4 scenes or so. There was actual blood. You get the scene with Angela. You get the kids that were hacked up.
We only get one.
You get Ricky after he got beaten, and then you get Meg.
Yeah.
All
we
the rest of
also-
them, you really didn't see anything.
We only get one stabbing shown, right? It's only
Yep.
one stabbing. Just Meg's the only one who actually we see gets stabbed on camera.
If you don't count the arrow as a stabbing, then yeah, there's only one.
Oh yeah. And now you're getting into technicalities.
But like Tommy said, it's Hitchcock, right? It's the suspense. We don't need to see all the murders because we know, and yeah, that's intriguing.
So should we do the next two?
And Jens didn't want to watch it because there's no tits.
So what do you think?
Oh,
2
God
and
damn
3?
it! I don't have the ghost. I don't have the ghost of Jens on my freaking audio things anymore. Shit.
Yeah.
Within the next 2 weeks, if you guys want to watch 2 and 3, we'll watch them. Let me know.
I'm down to watch them. I'll get back to you on the schedule, but yeah, no, I'm down to watch the sequels. I know you said they're bad, but I mean that's kind of what we do.
But thanks guys for hanging out.
Thank you, Trainer, for sticking it out to the end.
Yeah, thank you, Trina.
You the real MVP.
Nigel
Yeah.
was here.
Fester.
Lemon Pie, Sherry, Moira, Fester, Pornbot was here.
Captain Infinity.
Captain Infinity was here being a douche. Love you, Captain.
Moira.
Yeah, I said Moira.
Oh, you did. I didn't catch that.
Darius was in the. Darius was also in the chat. All right. Fuck it. Next week, Sleepaway Camp 2.
All right.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Hey everybody, what's going on? By now you know who I am. You know what's happened. Your fridge has been emptied and the trail of guinea pig jelly beans are going to lead you back to my channel where we're still messing around doing some shorts, waiting to be able to get back to doing regular videos, but unfortunately we do have a PC issue right now. So stay tuned. I just put up another review for a Transformer crossover figure with Universal Monsters. And I cussed like a dock worker in the original version of this because it was so piss poor Hasbro you could suck a big fat one through a garden hose, you son of a bitches. But stop by and check it out and hear me rant like a lunatic about this damn company who's just like falling apart on the last 2 figures that I picked up, especially for the damn prices of some of these things. But we're going to be throwing some more BattleBot videos up there. A few more toy reviews are in the work, including a new Predator figure, the Lab Escape Predator, which is pretty interesting. And we also got the 40th anniversary He-Man figure that I'm going to be doing a short review on, which I thought was absolutely spectacular. Amazing figure. Guys, remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. We'll assimilate you later. Peace!
Thanks for chilling out, bro.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. It's always fun to do these movie reviews.
There you go, Darius.
Hey, what's up? You can find me here with Slasher and on That 70s Rock Fan on Monday afternoons, 5 p.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. Mountain, which would be 2 p.m. Pacific. And in the meantime, I wrapping up a few things in real life, which doesn't exist by the end of the year. Yeah, I'm looking to get fired back up on my channel. You know where to find it. And if you don't, link is in the description. Yeah, I just got a word that I pissed somebody off somewhere, so that should be fun. I'm kind of curious. I don't provoke anybody, but thank you all for coming out, and thank you, Slash, for doing this. And we'll see you next time.
You don't piss me off, dude.
No, that's the real mystery. I'm wondering who could I have pissed off? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, fuck 'em.
Yeah, well, obviously. But, you know, I keep it to myself. I don't really provoke anyone.
So,
you know what? They deserved it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And, yeah, I guess we're coming back with the next couple of fucking Sleepaway Camp movies. Holy shit.
Do you think this was bad? Just
all
wait.
right. Have a good one. Later, everybody.